Alright, you guys, welcome back to some more Sabbat of the Witch. Continuing off from Tsumugi's point of view. We just went off somewhere. We have no idea where Shuuji went. He's doing his own thing. I'm assuming he's paying the price, the compensation, the transaction fee for the deal that he made with Akagi. Don't really know. We haven't really seen him. So, we're just going to continue on and see what Tsumugi is going to do about it. Tsumugi rushes over to chat with Toko. She can't wait to talk about Shuuji. Shuuji's sudden disappearance is unfortunate, but it hasn't hampered her happiness over the relationship one bit. That's not the reaction Tsumugi expected. She looks at Toko blankly. No. Is his compensation he disappeared? And not just like he went away somewhere, like he's literally like gone. He's not a thing. Toko quickly departs in the direction of the stairs. Tsumugi is left puzzled. It's like Toko suddenly lost all interest. Tsumugi finds that strange after everything Toko did to hook her up with Shuuji. Tsumugi enters her class while in a state of confusion. Okay, so she does remember Hoshino. Okay, I thought this was gonna be like in No Game No Life when he's like, I'm gonna go get us the last piece we need, and then like everybody forgets about him. Tsumugi is happy to find someone who'd engage her in the conversation she wanted. She shows Ayachi-san the teddy inside her bag. Hey, that's an insult to the bear. It doesn't have dead fish eyes. Wow. We're just ripping on this bear. Karia and Kaido take interest in Tsumugi's teddy. Wow, what a best friend you are. Two of them seem to lose interest in the teddy. With class about to start for the day, everyone takes their seats. Then he suddenly peers into the teddy's face. Hold up, what was that supposed to mean? What is that supposed to mean? Hold on. Then he returns to her seat as well. Disturbed by everyone's strange reaction, Tsumugi lifts up the teddy and stares at it. Oh, okay. I understand now. Okay. So he got turned into the teddy bear. Okay. Because he wanted to get it so badly for her, right? So his compensation is he's got to get turned into the teddy bear.
ちゃんと可愛いよね。
Just looking at it makes her want to hug it. She obviously has to restrain herself in class. When school ends, Tsumugi heads to the club
ちょっ
room.
と遅くなっちゃったな。
She's been making copies of her notes for Shuuji since he isn't present. Is he, though? All throughout class, Tsumugi stared at Shuji's desk. She wants to do what she could for him, but...
なんだか先生まで修二君が休んでることあんまり気にしてないみたいだったな。
Yeah, I want to know what that part of it is, though. Why does everyone seem to not really care? They're just like, oh, he's not here, whatever. At this point, she spots a familiar student walking down the corridor.
東さんだ。
She appears lethargic, like every step takes great effort. It's hard for Tsumugi to call out to her while she's like that. Tsumugi can only watch with worry as Atsuma disappears down the
ひょっ
staircase.
としてあの子犬のことで何かあったとか。後であやちさんに聞いてみようかな。あ、来た来た、つむぎ先輩。ごめんねめぐるちゃん。あとは戸隠先輩。今日は来るんでしょうかね。いえ、私も何も聞いていませんが。
Nini is in her usual position reading a book.
あ、そういえば今日は学生会の方へ行くって。じゃあ今日のところはこれで。修二君が休んでることはあやちさんが伝えてくれたのかな。つむぎ先輩、実はまた女の子らしく見せるアイディアを考えてきたんですよ。そうだったの？だからほらほら、そっちへ座ってくださいよ。
Meguru pushes her over to the seat in front of the mirror. She then takes some stuff out of her bag, including a hairbrush. Meanwhile, Tsumugi places the teddy on her lap.
それって遊園地のマスコットじゃありません？うん、わかる？もちろん知ってますってば。可愛いですもんね。ひょっとしてぬいぐるみ系は平気だったりするんですか？それはものによるみたい。へえ、でも今までキャラものは避けてきましたけど、ものによってはありなのか。今度そっちも考えてきますね。
Meguru should know about Tsumugi and Shuuji going to the amusement park together, but she doesn't pursue the topic.
めぐるちゃんは恋バナ好きだと思ってたけどな。
And there's something else bothering Tsumugi.
あやちさん、まだあつまさんと話したりするの？
I mean, this could still be like the scenario I was picturing, where it's kind of like with Sora and Shiro, No Game No Life. It could be similar to that. It could be like the people closest maybe have a little bit more time, or it could be like in Clan Ad with oh, what is that girl's name? The one with the starfish. You guys know what I'm talking about. How everyone like slowly like started forgetting her, and you know, but the people that were closest like kind of forgot last.
先週掲示板にチラシを貼ってるのを見かけて以来ですが、何か気になることでもありましたか？気のせいかもしれないけど、さっき落ち込んでるっていうか、すごく疲れてるように見えたから。そうなんですか？あの時は回復へ向かってるように感じましたけど。だったらやっぱり気のせいかな。さあ、念のため確かめておきましょうか。あつまさんのことはもともと私の担当でしたから。ごめんね、変なこと言って。でもあやちさんがそうしてくれるなら。
At least now one of Tsumugi's worries has been addressed, but even larger one has been bubbling up inside her.
よし、じゃあ今日のアクセ早速つけてみましょうか。お願いするね、めぐるちゃん。
I actually am liking this right now. The idea of like Tsumugi kind of being a temporary protagonist. I actually think she'd be a really good fit for like a leading role. Gosh, I don't want to spoil what game it is, but there's a game where you essentially start off as like a female protagonist and you end up as the male protagonist. If you've played it, you probably know what I'm talking about, but I like when they kind of like switch protagonists almost. Makes it quite interesting.
いただきます。
Mugi claps her hands together before eating her self-made dinner. Teddy bear is seated on the other side of the table from her.
修二くんが修二くんなら一緒にご飯食べられるのにな。
This is gonna be the route. This is gonna be us dating, just as a teddy
で
bear.
も最近は一人でご飯が多かったからだんだん慣れてきちゃったけどね。お父さんは転勤したばっかりなのにいきなり出張へ行かされちゃうし、お母さんはまだ前の職場の引き継ぎが終わらなくて行ったり来たりしてるから。
Why does the plushie have dots?
けど修二くんがいるだけでも結構違うものだね。いつもよりご飯があったかく感じるよ。おいしい。
She finishes her meal alone, then takes a quick bath. After that comes her homework. Tired of her, Smokey doesn't find herself in the mood, says she's checking her phone over and over.
携帯の電波が届かないところにいる。メールくらいしても平気かな。せっかく恋人になれたのに、今日は修二くんの顔どころか声も聞けなかったな。
Ends up shutting her school notebook before long.
今日はさっさと寝ちゃおうか、修二くん。修二くん？
After climbing into bed with the teddy bear in her clutches, Smokey gets a vague sense that it feels embarrassed.
そんなのあるわけないか。なんとなく今日はみんな様子がおかしかったからそのせいかな。
Buries her nose into the
け
teddy.
ど、どうしてだろう。修二くんって修二くんみたいな匂いがする。だから一緒にいるとこんなに安心するのかな。今夜は修二くんの代わりに修二くんが添い寝してくれるよね。だったらきっと寂しくないはずだから。
I feel like in a really strangely wholesome way, this is not really a terrible punishment. I mean, yeah, he doesn't get to spend time with her. I mean, unless there's some bigger twist to this. You know, it's supposed to be what, like 10 hours or something for every 1 hour? It was like 10 times, so I don't know how many hours he took, but it might just be a few days. I feel like there's definitely worse that could happen here. Suki falls asleep soon after getting into bed. At that moment, the teddy bear, I feel a sense of relief. Ooh, we're getting his point of view now. Sure seems to be suspecting something. Mainly that the teddy is none other than I, Hoshina Shuuji. I love the fact that he's saying it's none other than I, and then he has his freaking nose just buried in her chest. Alright, we get another explanation, I guess. I got a request for you, Akagi, after another transaction. It all started then, last night. Can you make it so that Tsumugi can act like a girl? Just a few hours every day would be fine. If you need compensation, then I'll pay it.
なるほど。今日した取引をこれからも続けようというわけじゃな。だが、分かっているのか？魔女の代償がどんなものになるか、それはアルプにも魔女自身にもわからない。もちろん肩代わりをする場合も同じじゃ。いや、むしろより大きな代償を払う羽目になるじゃろう。
I know, you've already told me.
言っておくが、あくまでこれはルールの裏道に過ぎん。
Okay, so if I'm understanding this correctly, if he's going to do this for a few hours every day, the compensation is going to keep adding up. He's not going to be able to return to his normal form if he's just going to remain as this teddy bear as the compensation. I wonder, is she going to have to fulfill her contract on her own? And then that'll kind of undo everything?
あっちもこういう特殊な取引を継続的に結んだことはない。だから何が起こるかは想像もできん。
But she doesn't have any fragments left to get, right? Doesn't have many, sorry. So this won't have to go on for too long.
それはそうかもしれんが。
So his idea is that if he allows her to dress like a girl and to be more confident, that she'll be able to finally fulfill this contract. I want to share a part of Smugi's burden.
まさかそのためにあえて代償を受けたいというのか。
And he thinks that this is the best way to do that. Never really been all too interested in fashion before. Can't even begin to understand how hard it is for her being unable to dress as a girl. Can only imagine. This is selfish of me, I know, but if I can reduce Smugi's burden just a little, then I'd be happy.
人間は不思議なことを考えるものじゃな。
I do think this is a very extreme way to accomplish this. I actually think it would be better if he didn't, you know, become a bear, but he's already taken quite a bit of compensation, so. You understand when you become human. You understand just how strong the desire is to better understand the one you love. Maybe you understand just why I want to do something for someone else so badly. It's an incredibly powerful feeling.
なるほど、わからん。だが小僧、お前が代償を払うなら、その分あっちは余分に心の力を貯めることができる。あっちにとっては得しかない取引じゃ。
I feel like she says that a lot. It's a win-win deal for me. What's the problem?
後になって文句を言うでないぞ。
I won't.
ならば、契約完了じゃ。
And then for some reason I became a teddy bear. Akagi wrote the letter for me. Now I asked for this myself, but I regret how forceful that I won't was. I deeply strongly from the bottom of my heart regret it. I mean, how I meant to know that this would be my compensation. It's inconceivable. Made a huge mistake. Now that I'm in this form, I can't do squat for Sumugi. I mean, sure, she gets a few hours to act early every day, but there's no point to that now. Just then I see a sparkle in the corner of her eye. What do you mean you see a sparkle? They're closed. Must be lonely. My chest tightens at the thought. God, I'm such an idiot. Huh? Is there like a gap between this? Wait, I returned to normal. What's going on? Oh, you know, just hanging out. Oh, well, there's no talking my way out of this one. I'm so sorry. I'm like, y'all already literally spent a night together. I mean, that's not too bad. Akagi is crying out, having been made to sit kneeling on the floor. I've turned back into a teddy bear already. Sumugi has placed me in a nearby chair. I failed to realize some things about the compensation I have to pay. I don't just stay as a teddy bear until this deal is over. Because I'm taking over Sumugi's debt, she gets several hours a day where she can dress as a girl, and during that exact period of time I get to return to being a human. I'm glad for that, at least. But of course there's an additional catch. Oh, okay, so that's why Nene could remember. Alright, gotcha. I was born a teddy bear. Well, at least she figured out things before she filed the missing persons report or something. I don't think we can act like anything. Huh? Well, I didn't think it would turn out so serious. Wait, what? I'm not saying anything. Sorry. If an outsider were to peep in on us right now, they'd see a girl giving a deadly serious lecture to a teddy bear. Right. I'm a teddy bear right now. How are we holding a conversation? That's weird. This is slowly turning into the movie Ted. My true form. So I can only speak to witches and elves, and only those who know what's going on.
さっきからダダ漏れになっておるぞ。
Seriously, what a pain. Like this?
ふむ。まあ小僧にしては上出来じゃろ。
Little boy. I don't want to hear that from a
ちゃ
little
んと
girl.
話ができるのは助かるけど、二人ともまだお説教の途中なんだからね。赤木も勝手に足を崩さない。
Dang, Samugi is serious. I'm sorry, ma'am.
だが紬よ、そうは言ってもじゃぞ。小僧が肩代わりをしてくれねば気分が悪くなって嘔吐していたはずじゃ。それはそうかもしれないけど、そんなことのために修二君がぬいぐるみになっちゃうなんて。
Sorry, I realize now how stupid it is. It would have been so much better if I had just left things as they were after the date. It was stupid taking on that extra transaction before I had paid off the first.
まあそのおかげでかけらも大量に戻ってきたことじゃし、紬ももっと前向きに考えてはどうじゃ。赤木は全然反省してないでしょ。紬が魔力を集め終えればこの状態も終わる。一日数時間は一緒に過ごせるのだぞ。ならばどんどん交尾をして小僧の心の穴を埋めてしまえ。
Oh, this is such a wonderful sentence. We'll go ahead and save that one too for later.
人間の好きな口実とやらもできるのだからちょうどいいではないか。
I know how you humans love excuses.
ね赤木、それにあっちも小僧が大きな代償を払ってくれているおかげでかなりの長時間人間の姿を維持できるようになったのじゃ。むしろあっちは感謝しておるぞ。
What was that laugh? Sugi kicks Akagi out of the room.
ダメだよ。反省するまで家へ帰ってこないで。ご飯も抜きだからね。そんなあんまりなのじゃ。
This whole scenario is so ridiculous. Sugi's words are those of a mother's, but she's gone bright red like the devil. I'm scared. The contrast from her usual gentle demeanor makes this so much worse.
さて修二君、
Hi.
私に許してほしいかな。
If you'd be so terribly kind. My formal manner of speech sounds foolish, but I'm dead
だっ
serious.
たら私のお願い。
Gladly. Despite her seriousness, Samugi starts bashfully
じ
squirming.
ゃあ人間でいる間は目いっぱいイチャイチャしてください。
Huh? Wait, did she go red because of this and not because she was mad?
そうじゃないと許さないからね。わかった？
Yes, understood. I'm no match for Samugi. I doubt I ever will be.
さあ、そろそろ学院行かないとね。
Huh? I'm coming too.
元に戻れるまでの間に勉強遅れたら大変でしょ。
The horror of being trapped in a bear's body and being forced to study. She lifts me up and stuffs me into my bag. Into her bag. Hold on a minute.
うわ、ひょっとして痛かった。
No, I'm a teddy bear. I can't even feel pain. I speak with my head poking out of Smoothie's bag. I was just shocked by how easily I was picked up by a girl.
なんだか可愛いね。
This isn't funny, though I guess I deserve it.
わかってるよ。できるだけびっくりさせないようにするから一緒に行こうね、修二君。
And so she takes me to school. Don't I kind of stand out? Everyone keeps glancing over at my head sticking out of the bag. Hey, is this okay? What if they confiscate me?
大丈夫だと思うよ。だって女子はカバンにぬいぐるみっぽいストラップつけてる子。
Yeah, and some of those do get pretty big. Not a strap, though.
だったら紐を縫い付けてみようかな。
No, thanks. Please keep needles away from me, even if I can't feel the pain.
だと思った。
But please, don't tease me like this.
先生に何か言われたらおかけの備品だとでも説明するから大丈夫だよ。それとも部屋に一人で置いてかれる方が良かった？
We shall be the watcher of the OC, making sure no one infiltrates. No, don't. This might be selfish, but I'm happy to spend the day with you, even if I am like this.
私もだよ。 Shuji-kun.
I'm really sorry for being such a selfish ass. If it weren't for me, we would have been able to meet up on the way to school. We would have been able to walk together like a normal
そう
couple.
だよ。私はまだ怒ってるんだからね。だけど、おかげでいつでも一緒にいられるのも、一緒にいられることを楽しんじゃおうよ。
Yeah, you're right. Suki is so kind. It seems almost I'm more bothered by this than she is. We're now in the middle of the first period, so by enjoying it, you mean studying together.
一緒に勉強するのって
She has sneakily taken me out of her bag and placed me in a position so I can see the blackboard and her notes. Having to do this all must make focusing on the lesson pretty hard. Yet Smoogie is smiling. She really seems to be enjoying herself.
それとも修二君って学院の勉強は嫌いな人？
I don't love it, but I really am selfish. Being with you makes it kind of fun.
勉強が好きになれば学院はもっと楽しくなるよ。
Smoogie gives me a gentle hug. Now that's what I call fun. We somehow managed to get through our morning classes without the teacher noticing anything.
修二君はお腹が空いたりしないの？
I'm fine. I don't think I can get hungry. I mean, I'm a teddy bear. Do I even have a stomach?
それもそっか。
It becomes a pretty big issue when I return to my human form, though. It felt like I could eat a horse after I turned human last night.
お弁当一緒に食べない？
Classmate, one of Shiba-san's friends, calls out to her. She's already pulled her desks together and formed a group with some others.
ごめんね。今日はもう約束しちゃったんだ。
Huh?
残念。でも仕方ないか。
That's weird. When did she ever make plans? While I'm still in a state of confusion, Smoogie carries me and her lunchbox out of the classroom.
ここなら他に人はいなさそうかな。
Smoogie sits down on a bench in the abandoned courtyard and opens her lunchbox. I've been placed right by her side. Wait, didn't you say you had plans?
嘘ついて悪いことしちゃったな。でも修二君と一緒が良かったから。
Tsumugi? I guess she couldn't exactly eat lunch with her friends while holding a teddy bear. Obviously wouldn't be able to talk like we are now.
それに修二君、一緒にいることを楽しもうって言ったでしょ。
I guess you could say she had plans with me. You're the only one who can hear me at school. Everyone's gonna think you're strange if you keep putting them off for me. Think about what it would look like if her friends realized she was turning them down to go talk to a teddy bear.
そうだ。気になるんだったらいっそこうしちゃおっか。
Ah, yes. The solution. Wait, what? Sugi transforms into her witch's outfit.
変身しちゃった。どう、修二君？
Pretty good.
私はもともと魔女の格好になるの好きだし、これなら学院でも人目を気にせずイチャイチャできるよね。
Yes, the important things to do at school. Flirting. Might be going a little far, though.
じゃあ早速修二君。
Hey, well, don't squeeze me so tightly.
修二君は抵抗できないんだよ。
I'm gonna stare silently.
私にいっぱいむぎゅーってされるしかないんだからね。ぎゅーぎゅー。
Aren't you gonna eat lunch?
でもその前に修二君を食べちゃいたいかなって。
What does that even mean?
ほら、修二君が人間に戻っちゃったらこういうこともできないんだから。
Huh? She said that cheerfully, but for a moment I felt a salty taste in my mouth. Maybe I was just mistaken, or maybe that was.
どうかした？
No, I was just thinking the same. If you're okay with me being a teddy bear, feel free to do whatever you want with me. Hey, yo!
いい覚悟だよ、修二君。じゃあ早速キューキュッキューっと。
And so Smoogie has her way with me. I understand the context, but it still doesn't make it sound any better. All I can do is accept her wish to spend all of her time flirting with me. But now that school is over for the day, I want to take things more seriously. There's something that's been on my mind. Don't you think we should tell Aichi-san what's going on?
やっぱりそう思
Normally you tell her right away, right?
う。なんとなくタイミングが合わなくて。
Really? Can't turn my head currently, so even if we're in the same class, I can't tell what's going on outside of my field of view. I'm actually quite curious what Kaido and Kari are up to, but they're in my blind spot. Especially Kaido. Apparently the guy had to eat lunch all by himself when I was out sick earlier. Sure, it'll be fine though. Yeah, poor Kaido.
あやちさん、今日はあんまり教室にいないみたいなんだよね。
Feels so bad for the guy that was literally making fun of our teddy bear.
私も追いかけてまで話そうとはしなかったから。
Maybe something came up. Maybe we'll run into her in the club room.
目があった。こっちに来てくれるみたい。
That's also in my blind
シ
spot.
ーバさん、申し訳ございません。今日の部活はお休みにしようかと。そうなんだ。珍しいね。ええ、実は七尾に相談しなくてはいけないことがありまして。だったら仕方ないけど、一人で行った方がいい感じ？
Aichi-san glances out of the window before
申し
continuing.
訳ございません。わかった。私でも役に立てそうなことがあったらいつでも相談してね。ええ、ありがとうございます。では、お先に。
But just mirror did Aichi-san seem rather grave just then. So this has something to do with how Atsuma-san was acting yesterday. Looks like you didn't get the chance to talk about me.
それなんだけど、実は私もちょっとためらってるんだ。
Huh? Why is that?
だってあやちさんにはずいぶんかけらを譲ってもらってるでしょ。このこと話したらまた譲るって言い出すかもしれないから。
Huh, you don't want to cause her any more trouble.
あやちさんにはあやちさんの願いがあるはずだから。もちろん修二君にとってはその方がいいと思うけど。
No, I'm fine. I'm starting to enjoy our secret flirting thing. Try to speak as cheerfully as possible. Got no problem keeping this our little secret.
もう修二君ったら。でも私だってそんなに長くぬいぐるみのままでいてほしいわけじゃないからね。そのためにもまずは私たちだけで努力してみよう。
You got it. How should we go about doing that?
もちろんかけらを集めるんだよ。相談者を待つだけじゃなくて、たまにはこっちからかけらを持ってる人を探しに行ってみない？それには部活が休みになったのもちょうどよかったかもね。
Oh yeah. I have a slight inkling that she never planned on attending the club today anyway. And so the two of us head into town. The busier the area, the more likely we'll find someone with fragments ready to be collected. Though it's not all that simple.
やっぱりこれだけ人がいると小瓶が反応してるのかしてないのかよくわかんなくなっちゃうね。
The obvious solution is just to hit everybody on the head.
修二君はどう？
Sorry, but I have no idea. Hate crowds to begin with. I can actually get sick when there are too many people
も
around.
う少し場所を絞った方がいいかも。スポーツの試合会場とか結婚式の二次会に使われるレストランの前とか、昔はそういうところに張り込んでたこともあったんだけど。
Yeah, it does seem like there'd be a lot of people with fragments at those. Did you know of any around here?
とりあえず人の多いところへ来ただけで、私は全然土地勘がないから。
Right, then what about a concert hall? There's a small one close by, if I recall correctly.
いいかも。前に修二君の友達からもかけらが回収できたもんね。
Fortunately, I did indeed recall correctly. We arrived just as the concert is finishing. There's a large gathering of guests emerging from the entrance.
やった反応してるみたい。けどこの中の誰だろう。修二君わかる？
No, I'm not sure. Maybe one of those people.
私もそう思う。移動するみたい。
Seems they're all heading towards the station. We decide to follow behind them. It's like we're detectives. Or stalkers, more like. Yeah, I would say that's more true.
ホームで別れてくれればさらに絞れそうだけど。
Won't the trains be crowded, though? Which complicates things quite a bit. All we can do is follow the person who seems most likely to be our mark. The one we singled out conveniently gets off the train at our own neighborhood station.
反応が消えちゃった。あの人じゃなかったのかも。
At least they had the courtesy to get off at our stop. At least we'd end up following him to the end of the line. Train fare for that would have been no laughing matter.
これだから街で直接探すのは難しいんだよね。
It was a shot in the dark, but at least it didn't cost us much.
そうだね。こういうこともあるから、結局おかけんの悩み相談が一番効率いいんだよ。あの方法を編み出した綾地さんは本当にすごいと思う。
She doesn't have to worry about someone thinking she's a stalker either.
そうそう、そこもこの方法のネックなんだよね。
You know how she said she needed to talk to Soma-san? Do you think it's about Atsuma-san? He was worried about her acting strangely.
どうかな。それだったら私たちにも相談してくれたんじゃない？
Yeah, probably. The corner of my eye, I spot a familiar-looking puppy. I don't know a lot about dogs, but it seemed like a common breed, so maybe I'm mistaken.
修二君、どうかした？
Oh, I just saw something over there a moment ago. Wait, it's gone. Luki helps me look around a bit, but we don't find anything. Guess I just imagined it out. After all, that was the puppy from the Atsuma-san accident. He shouldn't be walking around town here on his own.
彼、紬よ。Akagi、どうしたの？様子を見に来てやったのであろう。
It's awfully brave of you after being kicked out this morning.
まあまあ、Akagiももう反省してくれたはずだよね。そうの？ご飯抜きでもいいの？知らんのじゃ。それよりも良いのか？そろそろ小僧が人間の姿に戻る時間じゃぞ。そうなの
Came all this way here just to tell us.
小僧の心の穴が埋まらなくてはあっちも困るというだけじゃ。小僧も人前で元の姿に戻っては。
No, of course not. You really are just a tsundere.
なんじゃそれは。その言葉はひどくバカにされている気がするぞ。まあまあ、ありがとう赤木。修二君も急いで帰ろっか。人間になってる間は。
Yeah, of course. We promised to spend our alone time together. Oh gosh, I know what they're doing. As Akagi said, I turned back into a human not long after returning to Samugi's home. I'll go back to being a teddy bear in just a few short hours, though.
はい、修二君。
Oh, we're getting fed. There's a feast laid out on the table, and even better, Samugi is feeding it to me.
おいしい、修二君。
Yeah, it's awesome. I can't believe you made so much for me. Aren't you tired after all that walking around today?
だって修二君が人間でいられるのはこの時間だけなんだよ。だからできるだけのことをしてあげたくて。
Thank you, Samugi. But I don't know if I can eat all this.
もちろん無理なら残してくれてもいいんだよ。イチャイチャするって言ってみたけど、考えてみたら私具体的に何すればいいかよくわからなくて、手料理を作ったのは他に思いつかなかったっていうのもあるんだ。
Yeah, I can't think of anything either.
だからせめてね、目いっぱいおうちデートを楽しめたらいいかな。
You're even wearing the same outfit you wore on our date.
そういうこと。変だった。
Not at all, no matter how many times I see you in that. You still look cute, like a princess.
もう、修二君こそ私の王子様だよ。
Haha, these days I'm a teddy bear more often than not,
関
though.
係ないよ。だってカエルの王子様ってお話があるでしょ。
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much us, except we're a bear. A
た
stuffed
とえ
bear.
姿はカエルでも王子様は王子様なんだよ。
There's a story like that.
私の中ではそうなの。それよりほら、食べて食べて。
As instructed, I returned to eating. This is really good. I cook every day, but I think you're way better than me.
そっか、修二君家でもずっと家事してたんだよね。修二君のお父さん困ってないかな。
You shouldn't remember me, so I think that'll be fine. Actually, he's so much of a workaholic that I don't think we need to worry about him at all.
だといいけど、一回くらい様子を見に行ってあげた方がいいんじゃないかな。
My dad will be fine, really. He's the kind of guy who will smile and crack a joke no matter the occasion. I doubt I'd ever gotten a hole in my heart if I were like him. He's optimistic to a fault, but it's impossible to hate him for it.
私は一回しか会ってないからよくわからないけど。
Did anyone in our class ever seem like they were having problems as a result of my disappearance?
私は気づかなかったかな。
And I'm sure my dad is fine too. More worried about Kaido having to eat lunch on his own every day.
カイドウくん？だったらお昼休みはカリアさんたちと男女混合のグループを作ってたみたいだよ。
You did. He's a sly one, that Kaido. Kind of hurts that nothing's bothering him about my disappearance, even if he doesn't remember me. Well, I guess this is better than him worrying about me.
お父さんのこと信用してるんだね。
Huh? Haha, it's not like that. Anyways, you don't have to worry about him.
じゃあ私の心の中でだけ
Is he at least managing to keep the place clean? I hope our place doesn't turn into a dump. Anyways, what else would you like to do? I'm up for anything.
じゃあまたってするから修二くん目を閉じて。
Huh? Why close them?
それでね、私が何を食べさせたか当ててほしいかな。
Haha, okay. All the food she made was incredible. I don't have to worry about her feeding me something I won't like.
まずはこれかな。して。はい、わかった。
It's gonna feed us fried frog legs or something. I've heard it actually is pretty good. What could it be? It's obviously fried chicken or something. See, like I said, fried chicken, frog legs. I always get mixed up because, like, I've heard they taste like fried chicken. I mean, I guess if you fry anything, it'll taste kind of similar.
ちょっと惜しいかな。
Oh, I would love some karaage. I've got it. I can taste some soy, so it's tatsuage. Actually, I saw it before I closed my eyes, so I already knew what it was. But it would have been no fun if I gave the right answer immediately.
じゃあ次はこれ。
Ah, this is boiled eggplant. It tastes great. I can barely believe it's even an eggplant.
今度レシピ教えようか。
Would you? I know there's gotta be a secret to it, I just can't work it out. This time I answer straight away. The way she doesn't need to rely on elaborate dishes and can instead make simple food great is proof of her cooking skills.
じゃあ最後はこれね。
Yeah, I saw this one coming. Huh? I opened my eyes in surprise.
どうしたの修二君。ひょっとして。
Oh my gosh, yes, I think he knows what it is.
もう一口食べてみる。
Yeah, I think I'll need another morsel to know for sure.
じゃあまた目を閉じてくれる。
Okay,
どうかな。
like an incredible dessert.
惜しいかな。もうちょっと具体的に答えてみて。
I think I might need another bite for that. Oh my gosh. Gross. Gross. Y'all, get a room. Actually, you're already in a room, but don't show me. Lips partly. Yeah, no, I don't want to read about that.
修二君。
I don't need your detailed explanations. Hug her tight and bury my face into her neck. She smells incredibly good.
本当にご飯どころじゃなくなっちゃうよ。
This is like an episode of like how animals would eat food. Maybe, but I don't want to let you go. The hand she has placed against my chest curls up.
私もだよ。
I'm waiting for the dots. Looks up in her cloudy
イチャ
eyes.
イチャする。約束だもんね。
Yeah, we sure did. Both quietly close our eyes and our lips overlap once more. Woo! I'm excited. The dots. That means I can skip stuff. And a little while later, I turn back into a teddy bear.
修二君。
Reluctant to let me go, Smugi hugs me tightly in her sleep. I want to hug her back. I want to gently stroke her cheek while being careful not to wake her. All I can do is lie here and get hugged.
どうやらうまくやっておるようじゃな。
Akagi, you came back, huh?
鍵の隠し場所は知っておるからな。入ってこようと思えば、いつでも入ってこれるのじゃ。
Gosh, you really are a little kid. Look, would get angry if she heard you saying
何
that.
を言う。やはりあっちは間違っておらん。
That's another little kid response.
わざわざ町まで繰り出し、 紬は以前に増してかけらの回収にも積極的になった。最初は嫌がっていた交尾も積極的にこなしておるのではないか。すべては小僧、お前のためじゃろ。取引によってあっちは余分に心の力を手に入れ、だがそれ以上の効果があったのじゃ。おかげで人格を維持できる時間が長くなっただけではない。以前はうるさいとしか思えなかった音楽も、写真があるというのに絵画をありがたがることもあっちには理解不能だったが。
I like that idea of her being in her human form helps her to think more like a human. Because you could just assume, oh, now that she's kind of been a human and kind of walked around humans and done human things, she would still be able to kind of, appreciate that as a raven. But like in her raven form, it seems like she doesn't really care about those things. Like she thinks more like an animal, like that. So the more she's human, the more she understands humans.
今なら少しはわかる。
Akagi picks up a postcard from Sumigi's desk and stares at it. I seem to remember the one having some sort of fairy tale illustration on
こ
it.
の調子ならあるいは七尾より先に人格を得られる可能性さえあるじゃろう。
Really?
そうじゃ。だが渡航しているのはあっちだけではない。紬にとっても小僧にとってもいいことばかりではないか。すべてあっちのおかげじゃ。よかったな。
You're still miles away from being human. Words slip out of my mouth before I can even think about them. Though taking them back now.
なんじゃと？どういう意味じゃ？
You can't understand what I mean, it's proof
わ
enough.
かるわけないじゃろう。紬はお前がぬいぐるみでも一緒にいられる時間が長くなって嬉しいのだ。人間でいられる時間が短いからこそ積極的になっておるのではないか。分かっておらんのはお前の方じゃ。
Perhaps old me would have realized that Smugi's smile is fake much sooner.
何を。主人君。
Single tear streams down her face as she sleeps. I first noticed at lunchtime today. Her smile then carried a hint of saltiness. It was a taste of her hidden tears of loneliness. Smugi had said we should try to enjoy ourselves, but it doesn't mean she wasn't feeling sad. She wasn't hurting inside. She most likely rejected the invitation to eat lunch with her friends because she was worried about alienating me. I can only talk to a very limited number of people right now. Naturally, that excludes my classmates, so I would have been left out of the conversation, hidden away somewhere. Probably why she didn't intend on going to club either. She acted cheerfully, but she was only forcing herself to, so that I wouldn't worry. Even though this is all my fault. She's been trying to act as if everything's fine all this time. You're right that Smugi has been working hard and that she's doing it for me, but still, it's all my fault. Smugi is such a kind girl. How could I be stupid enough to hurt a girl this kind? Now I know what an idiot I was to agree to our deal. So sorry for everything I've done. At the bottom of my heart, I love this girl more than anything, so I've been putting on an act too, trying to act normal in order to not worry her. Of course, I've been happy spending all this time with her, and I've had fun, but that's not all there is to being a human, Akagi.
なんだそれは。嬉しくて楽しいならそれでいいではないか。
You wouldn't understand.
まさか同情でもしてほしいのか。あっちは人間に同情したりせん。それは出来損ないのアルプがすることなのじゃ。
Akagi storms off in a huff. I don't really like the way he handled that. I really think that he could have been more supportive of her trying to be a human. I would definitely approach her from the side of the fact that she's probably more on the emotional intelligence level of a child. I mean, she looks like a child. I know she's 50 years old, but that doesn't mean she has 50 years of human experience, right? She has 50 years of being animalistic and thinking very small-minded. So this is all new to her. So I feel like he needs to be more of a guide on like what she could do to better relate to how humans think, right? Because, you know, children learn from you. I mean, I have a child, so I've kind of seen that firsthand. They learn some good and they learn some bad, you know? So you gotta try your best to instill the good in them. Good grief, I have no right acting so arrogant. I think I just let my emotions get the better of me. I know she's not all bad, but I can't just let her warp the situation to suit her own wishes. Now that I'm the one to blame, Smugi's done nothing wrong.
なんじゃこの 間違っておらん。間違っておらんはずなのに。
I don't know, Akagi, though. Is it more important for you to be right? Or is it more important to maintain a healthy relationship with those around you?
胸がしっくりと痛むのじゃ。
Not saying to let people walk all over you. And it's okay to sometimes be right, but not make a big deal about it.
こんな気持ちになったことなど今まで一度もないというのに。
But you can see that she's making some progress. She's feeling emotions and things she's never felt before, and that's confusing, right?
サノバウィッチ。
We're in chapter 8. Lunch break the following
ちょ
day.
っとカイド、またうちのグループに入ってくるつもり？
いいじゃんいいじゃん。俺と若菜ちゃんの仲だろ。
変態と仲いいみたいじゃん。
まあ変態ですから。
開き直った変態だ。
Just like I heard from Tsumugi, Kaido really is eating lunch with Garya's group. That's a relief. Actually, it looks like he's having more fun than he does when I'm around. Now I'm getting jealous.
仕方ないだろ。一緒に飯食う相手が。あれ
Kind of looking over at my seat.
どうかしたカイド？
いや、あそこの席。どうしてあんな中途半端な場所が空いてるんだっけ。
さあ、前からそうだったけかな。
昨日からなんとなく気になってたんだけど。まあいいか。それより飯だ飯。
なんだいそりゃ。自分で振っておいて自己解決してるよ。
Yeah, that's ADD. There's a feeling that something's wrong despite not remembering anything. Happy for that, if nothing else.
よかったね、シュウジ君。
Whoa, Smoogie, back already. Smoogie had left for the bathroom.
完全に忘れ去られたってわけじゃな。
Haha, I appreciate it. Are we going to the courtyard again?
カイドウ君には悪いけど、どっちにしろお昼休みのシュウジ君は私が独り占めするつもりだよ。シーバさん、少しいいですか？
However, as we step into the corridor, Aichi-san calls us to a
おや
halt.
つさん、もちろんいいよ。ありがとうございます。実は放課後、一緒にシュバルツカッツェ付き合ってほしいのですが。シュバルツカッツェに？あ、ひょっとして昨日相馬さんと相談してきたことと関係あったりする？ええ、少し。
Aichi-san seems unusually reticent.
詳しいことは向こうで話しますので。わかった。私もちょうど話しておきたいことがあったし。
About me, right?
あやちさんには散々お世話になってきたもんね。私で役に立てるなら何でも言って。いえ、そういう類の相談ではないのですが、とにかくよろしくお願いしますね。
Aichi-san briskly walks away. Tinge of guilt appears on her face for a brief moment as she does.
一体何なんだろうね。
Don't know. Maybe they're planning a surprise birthday party or something.
シュウジ君の？
No, wouldn't it be yours? Your birthday's
だ
closer.
って私は違うもん。
I guess neither of us fit then. This is Aichi-san we're talking about. She won't be up to any funny business. That much I'm certain of. And so, not particularly suspicious of anything, we walked together with Aichi-san to the Schwarze Katse after school. However, she isn't being particularly talkative. She's not that talkative to begin with, but today she's saying even less than usual.
相馬さん元気にしてる？ええ。そうそう、おかけんの方で何か進展が。すみません。それはまた後で。そっか。
What's going on here? This might be serious. Eventually, we arrive at the Schwarze Katse.
あれ、臨時休業になってるみたいだけど。今日は貸し切りにしてもらったんです。相馬さん、こんにちは。あれ？
Mention enough, Soma-san is nowhere to be
七
seen.
尾なら今はいませんよ。てっきり一緒かとは思ったんだけど。
Aichi-san is standing between us and the entrance. I mean, she followed us in, so that's natural, but something about this is making me feel uneasy. It's like she's blocking our escape?
ところで最近赤城はどうしてます？どうってあやちさん。なんでも赤城に限らず鳥のアルプは自由に飛び回れる特性を生かして魔女を常に見張るものが多いそうです。心当たりはありませんか？言われてみればタイミングよく現れることが多いかな。けどそれがどうかした？今日のあやちさんちょっと変だよ。ごめんなさい、自覚はあります。その上で厚かましいお願いをしてもよろしいでしょうか？それはいいけど。
Without saying another word, Aichi-san transforms into her witch's outfit. What's more, her gun's already pointing directly between Smugi's eyes. What the heck?
怖がるふりだけ。
Just then the door burst open behind Aichi-san.
貴様、やはり七尾は紬のかけらを狙っておったのか。
Wait, what?
紬、今助けるぞ。危ない。何？
A dark shadow leaps at Akagi from behind. The fight is over before she's able to cry out. The shadow has pressed Akagi against the floor before any of us realize
油
it.
断したな、赤城。鳥は空にいるから自由なのだ。ひとたび地上へ降りれば、猫はお前の天敵だ。
七尾、貴様、何のつもりじゃ。そうだよ。相馬さんもあやちさんも一体どうしたの？まさか赤城をおびき出すために私を呼んだの？申し訳ございません。シーバさんが一切関わっていないことは分かっていました。ですが私にもどうしても許せないことはあります。許せないことって赤城何かしたの？知らん。こんなことをされる覚えなどない。
There's gonna be some crazy twist, like, oh yeah, she's actually finished getting all the fragments that she needs. She's just been trying to learn to be more human.
東さや子の名前に聞き覚えはないか？
Atsuma-san, the girl who took in the abandoned puppy.
どうしてそこで東さんが出てくるの？紬、知っているのか？誰だそれは。あっちは知らんぞ。
白を切っているのか？本当に知らないのか？それとも襲った相手の名前などいちいち覚えていないということか？
襲った。
Is that why her dog was running around?
違う。何の話をしておるのじゃ。東さんの心は回復へ向かっていたはずです。だというのにある日突然無気力になってしまったようなんです。まるで全てを諦め受け入れてしまったように。
Yeah, that's called depression. Like, this made a hole opened in her heart.
嘘。まさか私たちが余計なことしちゃったせいなんじゃ。いいえ、シーバさん。繰り返しますが、彼女の心は回復へ向かっていたんです。だから少し調べさせてもらいました。すると心を強引に削り取った跡が見つかったんです。
もともと穴が開きかけて脆くなっていたせいもあったんだろう。だがそんな真似ができるのは魔女かアルプだけだ。
待ってください。だからって赤城が犯人とは限らないんじゃ。シーバさん忘れたんですか？赤城が強引に星名くんの心を削って穴を広げてしまったこと。
The dog is secretly an Alp.
あれは
She has done this before, but this still doesn't make sense, even if she thinks she has done nothing wrong. Surely, she has learned how badly it can backfire on her.
星名くんも東さんもとても心の優しい人だと思います。でも優しい人ほど傷つきやすいんです。もしわざわざそういう人を狙って襲ったんだとしたら、あやちさん。
I've never seen Aichi-san look like this before. She is seriously pissed off.
けどいきなりこんな風にしなくても先に話を聞いてあげれば。
悪いがシーバさん、こいつに飛ばれたら私でも追うことはできない。そしてこの土地は私のテリトリーなんだ。
だからといって好き勝手していいと思っておるのか。
そのセリフはそっくりそのままお前に返してやる。だがもちろん面会の機会は与えてやろう。ただし短期間で急にお前の人格が進んだことなら事前の調査で掴んでいる。簡単には言い逃れできないと思ってくれ。
Hmm.
なんじゃと。それなんだけど。シーバさん、何か知っているんですか？ごめんなさい。
Shiba-san pulls me out of the bag.
シュジ君です。そのぬいぐるみの名前だとは聞きましたが。そうじゃなくて、もっと早く説明しておけばよかったんだけど、私の代償を肩代わりしようとしてこんな姿になっちゃったっていうか。星名修二君なんです。一体何を言っているんですか？
Yeah, I'm really sorry. Both Aichi-san and Sama-san are struck speechless. The only people who can hear me are witches and elves, and among them, only those who are aware of my true form. So Samugi's explanation has allowed them to finally understand me. I struck a deal to allow Samugi to be free of her compensation for a few hours each day. In exchange, I'm only allowed to be human for those same amount of hours. Outside of that time, he returned to this form.
まさか契約の代償でぬいぐるみになるなんてありえるんですか？
もちろん通常の契約ではありえない。本当に星名くんなのか？
Yes, I'm not sure how I'm meant to prove
い
it.
や、信じよう。まったく君もバカな取引をしたものだ。
I feel like what this sentence is really trying to say is, no, I believe you because you would do something this stupid.
赤城もルールを無視してイレギュラーな取引をすればろくなことにならないといい加減学んだらどうだ。
とにかくあっちが無実と分かったじゃろ。
さあな。これだけでは証明に。お前。
Someone's expression suddenly changes. What just happened? Akagi takes advantage of Nannao's confusion to break free.
言いがかりも大概にせえ。お前はあっちを犯人に仕立て上げたいだけなのじゃ。
テリトリー内でことが起きてしまった以上、私には犯人を探す義務がある。悪いが、現時点でお前が有力な容疑者であることに変わりはない。一度見逃してやったことが原因なら。なんじ
ゃと。あっちは最初からやってないと言っておるじゃろ。赤城、落ち着いて。だってあっちはやってない。やってないと言ったらやってないのじゃ。
Akagi storms out of the Schwarzekatse. That Akagi, was she crying?
見当外れだったんでしょうか。
容疑者は他にいない。少なくとも今の時点ではな。
赤城は違うと思いますけど。
Sorry, but neither do I. Like, she might be stupid, but she's not a bad person.
わかっているよ。だがそれでも無実が証明されるわけではない。
It has to be Toko!
そもそもこの付近で最近縄張りを変えたアルプはそれもわざわざ私の縄張りへ入ってくるものもな。
けど
むしろ君は自分の恋人にそんな代償を支払わせるようなアルプを信用しているのか？
信用しているというか、赤城は確かにひどいこともするし、けど本当の意味での嘘はつけない子です。演技をしてまでやってないと言い張るなんて、そんなの赤城じゃないです。
確かに一理ある。あいつはそこまで賢くないか。もしそうならとっくに自分の状態に。
Tomo-san?
いや、赤城も人化が進んだことで知恵をつけた可能性もゼロとは言えないだろう。他に真犯人がいるかも含め、あらゆる可能性を考えなくてはいけないようだからな。
それはそうかもですけど。
It's a sound argument, but something's bothering me about the expression on Somo-san's face. It's the same one she had when Akagi pushed her
と
away.
にかくねね、君には悪いがしばらく捜査に協力してくれると助かる。もし被害者が増えるようなら大問題だからな。
そのつもりです。シーバさんたちも巻き込んで申し訳ありません。あやちさんは何も悪くないよ。でも 部活にもしばらく顔を出せなくなると思いますから。
This definitely won't leave her with enough spare time for the OC, but assuming the culprit is someone else, who could it be? What the hell is their goal? So he looks at me in the eye. Looks like she's wanting the same thing. We arrive home to find someone already inside.
赤城、やっぱり泣いてたんだ。
Luki reaches out for the light switch but decides not to flip it. She walks over to Akagi in silence. Strokes her back.
やめか、登場などしてほしくはない。そっか。ごめんね。どうせ紬も小僧もハチを疑っているのじゃろう。
Hey, Akagi, something's up. Wow. Apparently I'm dyslexic. Hey, Akagi, Sumugi's been sticking up for you, you know?
いいよ。だって一瞬だったけど。
Hey, Sumugi.
修二君の心の穴を無理やり広げた前科があるって言われた時も何も言い返せなかった。やはり紬までハチを。赤城、今までのことはちゃんと反省しなくちゃいけないと思うよ。それが伝わってないから疑われちゃったんじゃないかな。今のままじゃもし真犯人を見つけて無実が分かっても同じようなことが起きた時、その時もこうやって膝を抱えて泣くつもり。私だったら。
She refuses to unconditionally believe in or support Akagi, which is what makes her so persuasive.
何なのじゃそれは。ハチを信じておるのか疑っておるのかどっちなのじゃ。ハチはやってないのにどうしてまたお説教されなきゃいけないのじゃ。
Akagi, you need to think about what Sumugi is telling you.
知らん。結局お前たちもあっちのことを疑っておるのじゃ。
Hey! Runs away again, this time out of Sumugi's house. What does she think she's doing by running away?
修二君、いいよ。私がちょっと偉そうなこと言い過ぎたせいだから。
I don't think it's uncommon for people that don't know how to handle their problems to just run away from them. I mean, I've definitely done that too in the past. No, you didn't, not at all. You could never have said those things unless you truly care about her. At least that's the impression I got. It'll just take time for Akagi to process. She'll come to understand what you said eventually.
だとは。
Left alone in the dreary dark room, the two of us remain motionless for a while. The only illumination is that of the moon's light sneaking in through the curtain gap.
ねえ、私たちで真犯人を探せないかな。
Actually, just thinking that. Not just for Akagi, though. This asshole is going after people with weak hearts. Can't just ignore that.
ありがとう。あやちさんが犯人を許せないって言った気持ち、私もわかるから。赤城にも分かってほしかったんだ。
There are things in this world one should never do. Even if you happen to be a witch, an alp, or something else outside the norm, your status changes nothing.
サノバウィッチ。犯人探しに協力したいということですか？
The first thing we do the next day is go and talk to Aichi-san. We had her come to the club room with us so we can talk without being overheard.
やっぱり赤城は犯人じゃないと思う。だとしたら他に真犯人がいるわけだよね。
Someone said you have no other suspects, which must mean you have no other leads. Wouldn't it be better if you had more manpower to search with? For some reason, Aichi-san seems to be having a hard time speaking when she looks at me. Are you finding it hard to speak to me?
いえ、星名くんだとは分かっているんですけど、ぬいぐるみとお話ししているようで少し恥ずかしくて。
I don't want to hear about embarrassing things from you.
そうなの？これはこれで可愛くていいと思うけどな。
Suki's never had a problem with talking to me now that I think about it. I guess it's different for
と
everyone.
にかく提案については私としてはぜひお願いしたいというところなんですが。
Why just personally?
相馬さんはまだ赤城のことを疑ってるのかな。七尾は可能性の問題だと言っています。 万一犯人の可能性があるものへ情報が漏れて被害が拡大したら、要するに念のためってこと？おそらくは。
It's a valid argument, which makes it much less likely that she'll change her mind. But you think differently, Ayachi-san.
昨日も言いましたが、私は犯人が許せません。敦馬さんは親しい友人の死を受け入れ、新しい友人との関係を築こうと必死でした。私が集めたかけらを吸収させて、なんとか安定はさせましたが、知っての通り、これは一時しのぎに過ぎません。
You went that far for her.
はい。ですがこの場合、かけらは犯人から奪い返せばいいんです。でも、奪い返すってどうやればいいのかな。私の銃か、シーバさんのハンマーで叩けばいいようです。
So it would basically be the same as any other collection.
まだ私も試していませんが、七尾によると、無理やり削り取ったかけらは元の持ち主へ帰ろうとする力が強いようなんです。だから散らしてしまえば、あとは自動的に戻るはずだと。
Basically, if we retrieve the stolen fragments from the culprit and return them to Atsuma-san, then the fragments Ayachi lent to her will be returned as well. Just like how the fragments I absorbed seem to have all made it back to her bottle. All we've got to do is bring the culprit to justice.
じゃあ私がやってもいいってことだよね。もちろんそうなります。ですから手分けして操作するというのはどうでしょう。一緒に行動するのは七尾の方針に逆らうことになってしまいますが、それなら問題ないはずです。
Yeah, and I'd rather not get into an argument about it.
ええ、その上で私たち以外の魔女やアルプがいないか捜索していきましょう。それにまだ発見されていない被害者もいるかもしれません。そっか、その可能性も十分あるよね。かけらを回収可能な人を見つけ出すのが難しいように、心が削れるほど弱ってる人を探すのも難しいはずです。見つけ出すだけでもなかなか骨が折れそうですが、もし被害者が集中する地域が発見された場合、犯人のテリトリーを特定できるかもしれません。そんなにたくさんの被害者がいないことを祈りたいけどね。
So, the more our culprit acts out, the better chance we have of catching them.
そういうことです。すでに七尾は周辺のアルプにも連絡を入れて情報を募っているようです。常習なら他の地域でもやってる可能性がありますから。
It'll be impossible to track them down if they work in that large of an area.
けど私たちにやれることをやるしかないよ。よその地域は他の魔女やアルプが何とかしてくれるよ。ええ、私もまずは学院周辺から洗っていくつもりです。シーバさんたちは駅の周辺から操作してもらえませんか？
Why there?
敦馬さんの家は駅の近くなんだそうです。
I see, we're starting with the places she spends most of her time at.
わかった。何か進展があったら報告するね。ええ、私からも報告は入れるようにします。
With our lack of leads, we're really just taking a shot in the dark here. But regardless, we begin our investigation. This route sure is going a lot of places. So, how do we search for a witch or an alp anyways?
前に私が編入してきた時はどうやって探そうとしてたの？綾地さんの他に魔女がやってきたってことは分かってたんだよね。
We didn't really do anything. We just found someone who had retrievable fragments and waited for you to show up. Basically, we baited you.
だったら釣りの餌って呼ぶのもあれかもだけど、かけらの回収が可能な人も探した方が良さげかな。
I don't know, our culprit here doesn't obtain fragments the usual way. That's why we're in this predicament. Let's keep the idea as a last-ditch effort, but think of something else for now.
そっか。そうだ。魔女に変身して私が見えてる人を探すとか。
Honestly, that's what I immediately thought of. I mean, only certain people can see her. Way too dangerous. They'll be able to tell who we are, but we won't know who they are. There's a good chance that whoever this is knows how to fight. I mean, is that something we should be assuming? It's not really out of the question is making people aware I'm a human and then trying to find anyone who can hear me. Methods are much too indirect. If only we had an actual lead to go on.
難しいね。結局地道に探す以外いないなんて。
Yeah. It's easier said than done, though. The station area is crowded with people this time of day. How are we meant to search for a culprit in this crowd who may or may not even exist?
よし、やろう。他に方法がないならやるしかないや。
So he takes out her bottle and begins hunting for a
アル
reaction.
プは探しようがないと思う。けど魔女は大量のかけらを持ち歩いてるはずだから。
Right, and if we find a witch, we should be able to find their alp before too long. But we'll be in trouble if the culprit is an alp without a witch. There's no point in saying that now. As Smugi said, this is the only thing we can do. Start searching for the people around us, too. There's always a chance I might find a victim or someone with fragments ready to be collected.
シュウジ君、どうかした？
No, I'm just a bit tired. To be honest, I'm not tired. I'm just not feeling well. Turns out I can still get nauseous as a teddy bear.
ああ、そういえば人混みは苦手なんだよね。
I'm fine. I just need to rest for... Oh, crap.
ひょっとして何か見つけた？
No. I think I'm gonna return to human form in a minute. Not in useless form enough to be able to tell when a transformation is coming.
もう？
Yeah, it's not like there's a fixed time when I go back to being human. Looks like it's early today.
どうしよう。人目のつかないところまで行った方がいいよね。
Won't be able to make it all the way back to your place in
だ
time.
よね。だったら、あ、そうだ。あそこへ行ってみない？
Couldn't we just, like, hide around a corner? What do you mean?
シュウジ君、忘れてるでしょ。
Going back to our place? I still have my own home. I've been avoiding going back there since becoming a teddy bear. It's not like I can't go back. I realize just how much I miss this place the moment we enter. Moments after entering the living room, I turn back into a human. Whew, made it just in time. Looks like my dad's been keeping the place clean. Glad it hasn't turned into a dump. There's nowhere more relaxing than your own home. Find myself sprawling out across the sofa in no time.
シュウジ君、おじさんみたいだよ。
Oh, sorry, I should have been neglecting my guest.
あ、いいよいいよ。シュウジ君にとっては久しぶりの我が家だもんね。せっかくだからゆっくりくつろいでて。
I don't know. At one point they said that nobody remembers him, and then another point I thought they said that he's been a teddy bear essentially since his birth. I don't know if that's what they thought, but wouldn't that have changed stuff? Like, nobody knows about us. I can't do that, we're in the middle of an investigation. I mean, he's probably working late, especially if he doesn't have us to come home to.
もう
I guess we don't need to worry about him? Maybe?
約束忘れちゃったの？
She walks over to me. I sit up and hurriedly try to make space for her. However, Smugi pulls my head down into her lap the moment she sits down.
人間になってる間はイチャイチャしてくれる。
I did, but does that still apply here? Gently strokes my head.
もちろんだよ。それにどっちにしろ一回シュウジ君の家に来ておきたかったんだ。
Because you're worried about my dad.
それもあるけど着替えとか何もないでしょ。人間でいられるのは一日のうち数時間ずつだから今までは問題なかったかもしれないけど。
Yeah, fair point. Let's go to my room and...
シュウジ君？
I was gonna say, does he have a room? Try to get up and she pulls my head back onto her lap. I don't know, maybe I just misinterpreted what they said earlier. I thought it's like as if he was never born, essentially.
イチャイチャしてくれる約束。
So he wouldn't have a room. So I did. So she spends the next 15 minutes stroking my head. You're treating me like a teddy even when I'm human now.
シュウジ君、愛してるよ。
She's not denying it. Eventually we managed to make it to my room. Manage, huh? I always knew you were gonna go straight to your room. I mean, you had to get your clothes, but still, I knew this is where it was gonna end up. It's like I hasn't been touched since I was last here. Although thinking about it, my dad should have forgotten that I existed. A little surprised he hasn't disposed of everything here. Maybe he hasn't even come home since then. It would explain why the rest of the place is so clean. Well, he is a workaholic. Maybe he's staying the night at work all the time now that he's forgotten about me. Well, the carry-out he's eating, he better not complain to me if his next physical goes horribly.
お父さんのこといろいろ言ってたくせにやっぱり心配してるじゃない。
No, I'm not. Anyways, if he comes home, he's not gonna have any idea who I am, is he?
わからないけどさすがに混乱させちゃうと思う。
Right, it'd be like he suddenly found two strangers in his home.
私のことは覚えててくれてるんじゃないかな。
Oh yeah, you met him when I was sick. Well, it's not like he's gonna come home at this time anyways.
それで着替えはどこ？
How would he reconcile in his brain, though? Like, oh, I met Shuji-kun's girlfriend. Wait, who's Shuji? That dresser there. Tsumugi casually walks over and opens one of the drawers.
シュジ君のパンツ。
Oh no, underwear. What do you think you're doing?
でもこれも必要だよね。
Tsumugi looks like a thief caught in the act. Okay, that's enough. I can prepare my own change of clothes.
恥ずかしがらなくても
You're the one who's blushing.
かもしれないけど将来は私がシュジ君の下着を選択するようになる可能性もあるわけだよね。
Dang. Immediately trying to fulfill the role of the housewife. Shinzo Abe would be proud.
そうじゃなかった？
Make sure you have 3 kids. Definitely possible, I mean, that'd be nice.
じゃあいいでしょ。私が準備しても。
Tsumugi turns her back to me and starts packing my clothes away into a duffel bag. This is unfair. Why is it that my heart is beating so fast during a simple conversation about male underwear?
シュジ君。
Unable to hold back, I pull her into a tight hug from behind.
もうどうしたの？これじゃあ着替えの用意ができないよ。
That's fine, save that for later. We need to keep her promise first.
シュジ君。
Oh my gosh. Guys, come on. I'm barely able to last a second before I get the urge to push my tongue into her mouth. I love you, Tsumugi.
ひょっとしてもっとエッチなイチャイチャがしたくなったってことかな。
He's a visual novel protagonist. He's been in the mood.
だったらもっと言ってみて。
I love you. I love you, Tsumugi.
はい、私も
Feel
大
gross
好
saying
き
it.
です。
This time it's Tsumugi's turn to pull me into a hug. Oh my gosh, Shuji-kun. I do as she says, and things thus take their course. I feel like that's such a good way of saying it. Gone pitch black outside, and of course I've turned back into a teddy bear. Tsumugi, we need to get going soon.
待って、
She seems to be in the kitchen. What are you looking for?
これだよこれ。
Ah, the matching mugs we bought. The ones we brought on our date.
もうシュ
Bought
ジ
on
君
our date.
箱へ入れたままになってるよ。まさか一回も使ってないんじゃない？
I don't feel like he's been home that much since you guys bought it. No, but I was gonna. That's why it was in the kitchen. When I went to open it, it kind of felt like it'd be a waste to use it.
そうなの？
I was happy just having the box open, occasionally looking at it. Of course, I did plan on using it eventually.
わかるなその気持ち。
Gonna use it for hot chocolate. You do? Oh, come to think of it, what happened to your mug? I haven't seen her using it either.
実は私も同じだったから。
That's what I'd say too if I was, you know, using it for something else and didn't want to say that.
ずーっと机の上に箱のまま置いてあるの。シュウジ君気づいてなかったでしょ。
No way. You have?
それで勉強の合間とか時々眺めてたんだよ。
Sorry, I didn't notice at all. I'm sure she'll find it in her heart to forgive me since I'm usually a teddy bear and all.
いいよ。私も自分で使おうねって言っておきながら
Yeah, I think it would be cuter if you guys used it for the first time together.
結局もったいなくて使えなかったんだから。
He holds the mug close to her chest.
でもせっかくだもんね。
Yeah,
今度
good
二
idea.
人の時に使ってみようか。二人一緒に。
Together? Sounds good. It's almost like we're a couple. Haha. Two of us laughing. Two of us laugh shyly.
じゃあ今度こそかい。
Just then, the sound of the front door opening reaches our ears.
ひょっとして修二君のお父さん。どうしよ
Oh shit, he doesn't usually come back for another 2 or 3 hours. The footsteps in the corridor are all too familiar. There's no mistaking it. It's my dad. Except something feels off. From my dad's perspective, the house should be empty, yet the lights are on and there's unfamiliar shoes at the entrance. Despite all that, he doesn't seem panicked in the slightest.
おや、君は
う。ごめんなさい。勝手に入っちゃって。
In contrast to Samugi's panic, slurred speech, my dad calmly surveys the room.
はあ、よかった。間違えてよそのうちに帰ってきたのかと思った。
Is he drunk? My dad is currently having his home trespassed on, yet he just sinks down to the sofa exhausted. His utter lack of reaction leaves Samugi stunned.
おじさん。
気にしないでくれ。確か君は、そうだ。前にもうちに来てくれたことがあった。
He does remember her. What the hell is this? And what has he done with my dad?
何かあったんですか？
I don't know. It's kind of scary how much he's like my dad sometimes.
ね
Except like he's like a much better version. I just met some of the quirkiness they have.
だって元気がないみたいですから。
Because my dad is not this friendly. I would have loved to have a dad like this.
何も。
Dad scratches his... Are we getting dad lore right now?
おかしいんだ。前はもっと頑張れたのに。なぜか気力が湧いてこなくて。
Oh no.
私には何か心の支えがあったはずなんだが、思い出せないんだ。
Damn, wholesome.
おじさん、まさかおじさんの心の支えって、まさか。
え？いや、もう何年も前になるな。私は妻を失っていてね。その頃は家族のために頑張っていたと。幸せだった。いつでも笑顔で迎えてくれる。私には本当にもったいない女性だった。上司には彼女を失った時に似ていると言われたよ。
Damn. Okay, this got really sad. I'm acting just like I did when I lost her, so he's grieving for somebody he can't remember. Can't be happening. I've never seen my dad like this. He's always so optimistic, always cracking jokes. You work your ass off all day, every day, and even have been taking those stupid party trick courses. Are you for real right now? Or are you trying to make your boss happy after everything he's done for you? I know he can't hear me, but I can't hold back.
宴会とかもうすぐあるんじゃないんですか？
忘年会のシーズンだからね。ああ、そうだった。あれも妻を亡くした年だったな。よその部署が起こしたトラブルで大口の取引先を怒らせてしまったことがあったんだ。私は上司と一緒にクレーム処理へ向かった。相手はちょうど忘年会の最中で、頭を下げるくらいならここで土壌すくいでもやれと命令されたんだ。
Is this transitioning into a joke?
私は妻を亡くしたばかりなのに。
Okay. Oh, this is in the past. Never mind.
残業で家にも帰ってやれない日が続いて。なのに土壌すくい。悔しくて情けなくて、私は手洗いで涙を抑えきれなくなってしまった。
Sad businessman stories. Salary man.
そんなことが。
He did the dance terribly wrong. Could not be my dad. He loves to dance. He'd probably do it, like, oddly perfectly.
でもその時上司が私の背中を叩いて叱ってくれたんだ。ここでお前がしっかりしなかったら誰が家族を守るんだって。今は歯を食いしばれって。
It's strange, though. My wife is my only family.
あの時
Alright, I didn't mean to read his line.
どうしてあんなに頑張れたんだろう。
Dad?
シーバさん、君と知り合えた時、私はどうしたわけか。次の日部下を誘って飲みに行ったりして、私は この嬉しい気持ちを胸にしまっておけなくて。なのにあいつら迷惑そうに笑いながらも、どうして私はあんなに嬉しかったんだろう。
This was really cool getting to see this. I mean, obviously this didn't happen in any of the other routes.
どうしてどうして。
I like hearing more about like his experience meeting Shiba, what he thought about that. Can't believe my eyes. He's never let me see him depressed before. Yeah, he's been kind of down, and that's very different from how he usually is, obviously, right? But I like getting to see a vulnerable side of him. It's because he's always, you know, so happy and motivated that we don't really get to see how he truly feels sometimes. If as much of a workaholic as he is, work had to have been tough for him sometimes. I knew how much he loved Mom. I should have realized how hard it has been for him to lose her, but I didn't. Been blind to his pain until now. Through his bright and optimistic demeanor, he has kept me completely in the dark. Of course he was in pain.
おじさん、また時々様子を見に来てもいいで。
ああ、うん。いいのかい？
はい、もちろん。今度はちゃんといらっしゃる時に来ますから。
そうだね。でも君と話ができて。いい
え。でもきっと大丈夫ですから。
Huh?
大切な人のことを完全に忘れることはできないんだと思います。だからきっと思い出せますよ。私も頑張りますから。
I'll return to my normal form once Smugi finishes collecting her fragments. Everyone's memory should return then, too. Dad shouldn't have any idea what she means, but a smile appears on his face nonetheless. Oh. I waited and I didn't hear him say anything. Smugi holds it as we walk through the night streets. The encounter with my dad was so shocking I don't know what to say. And yet, I know I have to speak. It's Smugi.
何、修二君。
At school, I never noticed anything wrong with Kaido and Karya. I was sure that my dad would be fine too. Never in a million years would I have expected things to be so bad. Smugi strokes my head in silence. He told me the whole loach scooping thing was just like a part of the party. He told me that with a smile on his face, like it was some heroic comedy tale. He also told me he was going to invite out his subordinates to drink. I was embarrassed, so I told him to knock it off. I didn't understand anything. What I thought was a heroic deed has turned into the biggest mistake of my life. The dull ache in my heart only serves to reinforce the depth of my stupidity.
おじさん、修二君のことが本当に大切だったんだね。
It does seem that way. Never really thought I was worth a damn, but there are people out there who care for me. I need to start caring about myself too.
修二君のお父さんってすごく優しい人なんだね。修二君が優しいのもきっと。
Oh please, the only thing I take after my dad is how much of a smartass he is.
いつか恩返ししてあげたいよね。
Right, for that we'll have to get me back to normal.
犯人探しも大切だけど、かけら集めも頑張らないといけないね。
I want to be stronger. I won't lose out to this hole in my heart. I'm going to become the kind of person who can truly care about others in return. Yep, gotta fill his hole.
サノバウィッチ。
Ah, it's my favorite. Choto Inui. To share the results of yesterday's investigation, we've come to the club room with Ayachi-san.
そうですか。そちらも手がかりはなしということですね。
I'm telling you guys, it's Toko.
そちらもってことは、あやちさんも？ええ、七尾も不思議がってるくらいで。別のアルプがいるなら匂いでわかるというのですが。
Huh, Alps can do that. Wish we could get Akagi to help us then.
あれから姿を見せてくれないんだよね。
Akagi's name would have been cleared if we actually found the culprit, but she's probably still holding a grudge. Even if she were around, it's possible she wouldn't help us.
ともかく簡単にはいかないということでしょう。だね。地道な捜査を続けていくしかないのかも。
Well, we're assuming the victims will be popping up one after another. That's one thing I'm glad to be wrong about, even though our job is harder for it.
ねえ、あやちさん。もっと効率的な捜査方法はないものかな。私が教えてほしいくらいですから。何か思いついたら。もちろん私も何か思いついたら。ええ。明日からは週末になりますし。
Having made no progress during our meeting, we decided to simply loiter around the station again. Great. It worked so well last time.
やっぱり見つからないね。
Nope. We were unlikely to get any results by going to the same place and doing the same thing as yesterday, but the fact that we haven't found anything means their attack was a one-time offense. As unfortunate as that is for Atsuma-san.
新たな被害者が出ないに越したことはないもんね。なんとかケアしてあげる方向へシフトしていく方が現実的なのかも。
Maybe. Doesn't feel right to leave the culprit at large, though.
ねえ、シュージー君。お父さんの様子、また見に行ってみない？
Yeah, I'd like to know if he's okay. Sort of seemed pretty weak. A parent and child both getting holes in their hearts would be no laughing matter. Sorry about this.
私も気になってるから。もう帰ってきてるかな。
I still have yet to figure out what, like, the defining thing that everybody seemed to hate about this route was. I mean, do they hate that this is kind of like I don't know, a detour, I guess? I mean, they're still growing closer together right now, so I don't really want to even call it that. I'm just trying to think of what somebody else would think. I don't really know. I don't know what people hate about this route so much. I mean, it's definitely slow. Judging by how he was yesterday, I doubt he's able to put his all into his work. Because I feel like the whole transaction thing that they did really, like, made the story seem longer to me. Up at the house and see at least. So we head to my house.
ひょっとしてシーバさん？
おじさん。
What is our dad doing here? Never seen him outside the house.
いや、そうじゃないかと思って。
Oh, he seems cheerful today. Ought to be delighted, but the change is so massive, I'm in shock. He's carrying a rather large bag, too.
実はこれから寄ろうと思ってたところなんですけど。
Hey, yo.
悪いね、心配かけて。でも、もう大丈夫だから。
Wasn't there a whole anime about this? Like a guy that took like a high school girl home?
ならよかったですけど。シュージ君、いえ、星名さんの家って。
ああ。
That looks like a paper bag he's carrying. There's a dog raising set inside.
実は子犬を拾ってね、飼ってみることにしたんだよ。けど驚いたな。修二のこと今口走ったろ。
Has he remembered me?
子犬の名前どうしてシーバさんが知ってたんだい？
犬の名前だったんですか。
なんだ、違ったのかい。そりゃそうか。
What a misleading name. Why does everyone keep naming things after me?
とにかく家にまた家族が待っていると思えば頑張れる気がしてきたよ。
おじいさん。シュージ君のためにも頑張ってあげてくだ。
なんだか父親になった気分だな。それじゃあ。
Okay, Dad. Runs off more energetically than you expect. Seems he's found a new pet to love.
よかったね、シュージ君。
We're gonna come back and have a dog. He's my dad never changes. He'd have world peace if everyone could move on as quickly as he does.
今すっごくホッとしてるくせに。それに犬の名前絶対関係あると思うな。
Well, we saw the Atsuma's dog was running around here before. I'm sure that's the dog he got. We're gonna have to like steal his dog back?
あ、アカギだ。
Water across the road a little ways down.
行っちゃった。私たちに気づかなかったのかな。
Don't know. Too busy wondering why she went down the same road as Dad just now. Sure, it's just a coincidence. Right? Is she still trying to farm you know, making someone's heart better? You taking advantage of that? But assuming last night's encounter with Akagi was a coincidence until a new victim appeared. A little earlier today, Sama-san got in touch with us through Aichi-san. As soon as we heard the news, Tsumugi grabbed a hold of me and set off running. That was campy. I don't want to believe it. He doesn't deserve this. Just yesterday he was... My emotions turned from blazing hot to ice cold the moment we arrived at the scene. There's no mistake, nor is this a dream. This is reality. A lethargic attitude and eyes like a dead fish. Oh no, he's turned into us. Looked like this every day, I don't believe it.
七尾がたまたま路上で倒れているところを発見した時には
かなり強引なやり方をしたらしい。心をボロボロにされて完全に穴が開けられている。すまない。まさか君の父親が狙われるとは。
It's not your fault. I didn't consider the possibility either, even though I knew my dad's heart was weak. Even though I knew the culprit was targeting people with weakened hearts. This is my fault more than anyone else's. I made a stupid deal with Akagi without thinking, and as a result, my dad lost the one thing that kept him going. It's all my fault. Because of that, I have no right to say what I'm about to say. But the words leave my lips before I know it. Who was it?
Shuuji-kun.
Who did this to my dad? Who was it? I deserve whatever I get for my stupidity. But not my dad. He did nothing. He's always so cheerful no matter how hard the situation. He loved his wife, he loved his job, and he worked hard for his family. For me. Who would target someone like him? Who would do something so horrible? Why? Why my dad? Just then Tsumugi holds her bottle out towards my dad. Glowing white feathers spill forth and are absorbed into him.
不思議だな、その光は。
おまじないです。楽になったら少しでもそれがいいと思いますから。
Well, we're just giving out all the fragments, I guess. That's carried to his bedroom. So are you sure about that? Those are all your fragments.
いいよ。この分は犯人に返してもらおう。修二君のお父さんの心はお父さんのものなんだから。そうだよね、綾地さん。ええ、もちろんです。七尾も構いませんね。
勘違いしてはいないか、ねね。所詮アルプの世界のルールはアルプ自身を守るためのものだ。
七尾、
必要以上に人間を傷つけては魔女と円満な共闘関係を築くのは難しくなるからな。
Tomo-san stands up with the wall she was leaning
だ
on.
がこいつは許せん。私のテリトリーでこれほど蚊に触る真似をされたのは生まれて初めてだ。草の根分けても探したし、決して野放しにはしない。必ず犯した罪を償わせてやると約束しよう。
Tomo-san has always acted composed, never letting her emotions show. Thought that was largely because she was an elf and didn't actually have any emotions to show, but now she's laying her emotions bare. Thank you, Tomo-san, and thank you, Tsumugi. If there's anything I can do to help, anything at all, just tell me.
ああ、私からも正式に協力を要請させてもらう。もう死の後の言ってはいられないからな。
じゃあこのこと赤城にも。
We hear the fluttering of a bird's wings just outside the window. Looking over, we see a single large raven speeding into the distance. Is that Akagi? Was she listening in?
またシーバさんを見張っていたのでしょうか。
I don't know, but
ひょっとして修二君も思い出した？
I was thinking, You too, Tsumugi.
どうした？何か思い当たることでもあったのか？
I thought we saw Akagi going down the same road as my dad last night, but she didn't seem to notice us at all back
つま
then.
り見張っていたのはシーバさんではなく星名君のお父さんだった可能性があると。
もちろん犯人っていうより何か知ってるかもって。
やれやれ。犯人じゃないなら怪しい行動を取るのはやめてほしいものだな。
少なくとも犯行を目撃した可能性は高いのでは。その道へ入っていったなら星名君のお父さんが倒れていた場所は通り道のはずです。
ならなおのこと見たことを話していけばいいものを。
赤城のことは私に任せてもらえませんか？多分素直になれないだけだと思いますから。
いいだろう。私では喧嘩になるだけかもしれないからね。他に気になることがあるなら話しておいてくれ。
Well, that reminds me. What happened to that dog raising set?
それなら
Turned over. Turned me. Look at it. Oh. It took me a second. I was like, what do you mean she turned me? So the set is in here, but the puppy's in question, isn't it? And there's no sign of having been used either. Didn't he say yesterday he took it an abandoned puppy?
散歩の途中で襲われて逃げられたということだろうか。
So the puppy is an Alp.
その可能性は高そうですが、子犬？昨日拾ったばかりなんですか？そう言ってたけど、どうかした？いえ、東さんが預かっていた子犬も行方がわからなくなっているのを思い出したんですが。
You think it's a coincidence? Could this be the same puppy I saw walking around the town several days ago?
待ってくれ。どちらも子犬なんだな。
Supposedly, yeah, I never saw the one my dad mentioned.
ひょっとして。
何か？
いや、確証はない。いずれにせよ、赤木の話を聞くのが先だろう。
You know something and you're gonna wait to tell us.
先入観を持たずに当たってほしい。
はい、わかりました。
Alright, well, let's go get Akagi. That being said, it's not easy getting a hold of her. She can fly whenever she pleases. Thankfully, it seems Tsumugi has a trick up her sleeve.
まずはスーパーに寄ろう。
Huh?
今ならタイムセールがあるはずだから。
Ah, yes, the end of the day, when they clear out all the stuff from earlier. You think of preparing dinner or something? I've heard of that about their stores there, that they like make fresh food and then they clearance it at the end, like around like 5. I don't know, whenever. Like, oh, that sounds so nice. I mean, they do that here. I definitely buy rotisserie chickens a lot when they go on sale. I'm getting so sidetracked right now. I was thinking about rotisserie chicken. The table is covered with chicken dumplings, boiled turnips, and meatloaf. I've been craving meatloaf. Oh, don't tell me that. I'm not slacking off or anything, are you?
当たり前だよ。これは作戦なんだから。赤城は神出鬼没だけど、こっちから捕まえるのは難しいでしょ？
Yeah, I'd say so.
だったら向こうから来てもらうしかないでしょ？
So we have to copulate, or whatever. Is that how she said it? So we made all this food to lure her in.
赤城は鶏団子が大好物なんだよ。
Ah, simple plan. She really let herself be baited by chicken dumplings. Do you remember her talking about chicken dumplings before? Wait a moment. Kagi's a raven, right? And she likes chicken dumplings?
そうだけど。
Chickens are birds.
だからどうしてそんな当たり前のこと？
Eh? Not a tad cannibalistic.
ちょっと待って。今までもずっと普通に食べてたんだよ。美味しい美味しいって。
I don't feel like a bird eating another bird would be like weird.
週に1回か2回は必ず。
Is that considered cannibalism? They're not even the same type of bird.
ひょっとして私、ずっと赤城に共食いを。
Hey, she's trying to become human, okay? So it's not weird if she eats a bird as a human. You fools. A voice enters the room from the veranda.
同じ鳥だからといって、発注鶏などと同じにされては困る。
Yeah, see, she's offended. She's a bird, and she doesn't like that. Kagi, you actually showed up.
言っておくが、別に食べ物に釣られたわけではないからな。何か話がありそうなので、寄ってやっただけじゃ。
Or so she says. She's still heading straight for the dinner table. Sugi serves her up some white rice.
はい、赤城。
Gotta have that Japanese sticky rice.
む。
I just had some tonight.
麦、ポン酢が出ておらんぞ。
Yeah, where's the soy
鶏
sauce?
団子にはポン酢じゃろ。
Oh, do they? Are they okay with being a cannibal?
だから共食いではない。人間とて同じ哺乳類でも猿の肉を喜ぶものは少ないだろう。だが、牛や豚の肉を食べるではないか。同じ鳥類でも、あっちと鶏では種としての品位に差があるのじゃ。
Yeah, I think they're very different. Because all birds look the same to me. Damn, Shuuji, you're about to get canceled, you racist.
人間は すぐ見た目にとらわれる。あっちには哺乳類も2本足か4本足かの差しかないように思えるがな。だいたい飛べもせんやつらと一括りにされているのは納得いかん。
Hey, they can fly short distances. Akagi uses one of her hands to stuff her face with meatloaf while using the other to dip her dumplings in soy sauce. You know, as an American, I've definitely had chicken and dumplings, but I've never heard of using soy sauce with it.
やはり紬の料理は絶品じゃな。あっちが人間になった暁には専属料理人として雇ってやってもいいくらいじゃ。
I don't think you could afford them.
赤城と一緒に食事をするのも久しぶりだね。それで話があったのではないのか。赤城知ってるんだよね。修二君のお父さんが襲われたこと。無論じゃ。餌に使わせてもらったのだからな。
Oh, so they did our plan.
釣りの餌じゃ。犯人は心が脆くなっているものを選んで襲っていたのだろう。なら餌を見つけて襲いに来るのを待つ方が賢明であろう。
You little, so you knew there was a good chance my dad would be attacked. But you just used him.
でなければどうしてあっちが現場の近くにいたと思うのじゃ。まさかあっちが直に襲ったとでも言うつもりか。
Of course, Sumugi and I realize that Akagi isn't the culprit. But what she has done is barely any different. Has nothing Sumugi has told her sunk in?
どうした。お前たちもあっちを誘い出すために餌を用意したのではないか。赤城。
Sumugi stabs a dumpling with a chopstick and thrusts it towards Akagi.
犯人を見たんだね。それを私たちに教えてくれるつもりで。犯人はアルプでも魔女でもない。だから七尾も見つけられず苦戦しているのじゃろう。あっちも最初目の前にいることに気づかなかったくらい。
What do you mean?
あれはアルプになりかけているだけのただの動物じゃ。ルールはもちろん善悪の区別もつかず暴走しているだけなのだろう。
Oh. An animal that's deciding to become an elf.
修二君。
Are you screwing with me?
そいつの名前じゃ。
Are you actually... Wait, don't tell me.
じゃあやっぱり私たちが初馬さんに預けたあの子犬なの。それをまたそうなるのであろうな。見た目の姿はアルプになる寸前。アルプとしての年齢に書き換えられる。子犬に見えても実際には弱い20に近い老犬じゃろ。
Come to think of it, Soma-san looks like a kitten when she enters her animal form. They found an adult dog closed because it just completed its transformation. Oh. Interesting. And then we caused this by giving it to Atsuma-san. I keep adding... I keep saying Atsusuma. Like, I'm adding an extra... Not what I should be doing.
だが成り立てであれば自分でもアルプになりかけていることに気づかぬ場合もある。小僧が気づかなくても無理はないと思う。
Still, knowing that we're the ones who started this is shocking.
修二君、他の人が拾わなくてそれじゃあ誰も気づけないまま被害者だけ増え。事情を知ってる私たちだからおかしいって気づけたんだから。
Yeah, I know. At least we know who the culprit is now.
あとはみんなで協力して捕まえよう。みんなで？なぜじゃ？
Koki snorts derisively at us. It's not at all like her usual laugh.
見つけたのはあっちじゃぞ。お前たちはガン首揃えて何もできなかったのではないか。このままお前たちだけで捜査を続けたとしても成果を上げられたかどうかさえ怪しいもんじゃ。
Maybe, but it's true that even if we did think of using someone as bait, I never would have been able to use my dad. Okay, so what are you getting at?
あっちはただ七尾より先に犯人を見つけてギャフンと言わせてやりたいだけじゃ。人間にどれだけ被害が出ようとあっちには関係ないことじゃな。
Oh, okay.
なのに協力などしたら目的が果たせなくなってしまうではないか。
You're the worst.
もともとあっちは人間が嫌いだと言わなかったか。実はもうねぐらも抑えてある。
I hate humans, but I want to become a human.
あとは踏み込めばいいだけ。どっちにしろ協力など不要。
Then could you at least return the hard fragments you get from the culprit? Let's express my displeasure at her methods and plead for her help. Returning my dad and Natsuma-san back to normal is what matters
バカ
most.
を言え。あっちが見つけたのだから、あっちがいただく。赤木。
If I were human right now, I would have grabbed her by the shoulders. Actually, I don't think I would. Not with the tears Smugi is shedding.
なんじゃその顔は。あっちは当然の権利を主張しているだけじゃ。どうしてそんなに無理してるの？何？私には赤木が無理して悪ぶってるようにしか見えないよ。だって赤木はそこまで悪い子じゃないはずだもん。
Yeah, Akagi, not like her.
どうして無理してまで悪い子になろうとするの？お願いだから修二君のお父さんを元に戻してあげて。
Even Akagi is shaken by this, but her expression remains as smug as ever.
あっちはもともとこうしてきたのじゃ。ずっとこうしてきたはずなのじゃ。今までは七尾に遠慮してきたが、もうあっちの方が上なのじゃぞ。あいつのようにあっちは人間に登場したりはせん。登場などしては効率よくかけらを集めることができんではないか。そんなのは出来損ないのアルプがすることなのじゃ。
Akagi bitterly rants and raves, but through seeing this, I can tell that Smugi was right. I don't know why, but she's forcing the act upon herself. Hey, Akagi, remember how you told me why it is you want to be human? Is that a lie?
友達とそれ以外の人間は違う。
My question failed to perturb her any further. In fact, it seems to have helped her regain her composure. Forget about me, isn't Smugi one of your friends?
その通りじゃ。魔女とアルプの間に友情などあってたまるか。もともとお互い目的のため利用し合う関係なのじゃ。
Do you not realize how sad that way of thinking is?
修二君、もういいよ。つむぎ、赤木、私ちゃんと分かってるつもりだから。魔女の契約をするとき、無茶な前借りを申し出る私に本当は困って止めようとしてくれてたこと。修二君が風邪で倒れたとき、本当は慌てて知らせに来てくれたこと。それを見て私はただごとじゃないって思ったんだから。
Is that why she took the day off school to come and look after
遊
me?
園地へ行く前の夜、あんまり嬉しくて私なかなか眠れなかった。あの時私の取り留めのない話をずっと隣で聞いててくれたでしょ。赤木、迷惑そうにしながらも嬉しそうに笑ってたんだよ。だから後で修二君とおかしな取引をしてたと知った時も本気では怒れなかった。赤木なりに私たちを応援しようとしてくれてたんだって分かってたつもりだから。
Smugi looks directly into Akagi's eyes.
私はずっと赤木を友達だと思ってた。今もそう信じてるから。くだらん。
Akagi averts her
あっ
gaze.
ちは自分の目的に従ってきただけじゃ。それ以上でも以下でもない。そうなのかな。当たり前じゃ。そんなに信じたければ勝手に信じていろ。せいぜい裏切られて仲ようにすることじゃな。
Akagi slams down her chopsticks and stands up. Are you gonna finish your dumplings? I thought they were your favorite.
バカにするでない。あっちは。じゃあ残りはまた今度食べよう。ちゃんと赤木の分も。勝手にするのじゃ。
Akagi transforms back into a raven and leaves through the same window she came in. Why is she being so stubborn? Was she that bothered by what we said?
とにかく相馬さんたちにも報告した方がいいよね。
Yeah, we should. We all know who the culprit is now, but there hasn't been that much progress. In fact, if Akagi truly plans on taking all the fragments for herself, then things have just gotten even worse. We're all gonna have to chase after Akagi together.
なるほど。そういうことか。
Someone responds to Smoogy's report in a calm tone. Suki has set her phone to speaker mode so I can hear the conversation.
真犯人については子犬が関わってると聞いた時点で予想はしていた。だが赤城一人で対処させるのはまずい。
まさか本気とは思いませんけど、毎日かけらを自分のものにするつもりなら。
もちろんそれも問題だ。先日シュバレツカーツで取り押さえた時、だが赤城は多分自分じゃまだ気づいていないのだろう。
And she mentions that I do remember someone's son acting strangely. What do you mean?
いいかい。アルプも生態に近づくほど人間に近い心を持つようになっていく。それはアルプもかけらを生み出したり心に穴が開く可能性があるということなんだ。
There's a hole in her heart.
まさか。
So this is bad. Actually, it's maybe the worst case scenario. The bastard we're dealing with seeks out people with weak hearts and attacks them. He appears excited. He's panting heavily and drooling wildly. One could easily mistake him for being rabid. Fire burns in his eyes in anticipation of the hunt to come. He's restless, unable to stay still. Reve is a silent observer high in the sky, watching as he crawls from his den and heads out on the prowl. That observer is Akagi. Eventually, the puppy sets its sight on a single passerby. Akagi folds her jet black wings and swoops down. The dog takes an aggressive stance and lets out a low growl. Yet the passerby still doesn't realize that something is behind him. These humans completely forgotten their links to the wilderness.
やめておくのじゃな。あれは食ってもうまそうにない。
On hearing Akagi's cry, the puppy jumps back and lowers its body to the ground. These are the actions of someone used to the hunt. Its diminutive looks belie its true
ど
age.
うした？まだ人化はできんのか。同類に会うのは初めてと見えるな。
This time he doesn't growl. Instead he glares at Akagi while circling around her.
お前は知らんようだが、かけらの集め方にもルールがある。新米は先輩アルプからそれを教わるものじゃぞ。
Smiles wryly as she remembers how Nana once drilled the rules into her. But of course, Akagi has no intention of helping this puppy out for free.
勉強代じゃ。お前が無茶な方法で集めたかけらは。ほう、威嚇しておるつもりか。それとも人化もできぬひよっこが。なあよい。身の程を教えてやるのも教育の一環じゃろ。
Puppy leaps forward at Akagi, but she hasn't exactly lived a life of luxury herself. Akagi easily dodges the puppy and restores the distance between them.
なかなか素早い動きじゃが、まさかあっちを弱いと思っておるのか。この程度では触れることも。
For reasons Akagi doesn't understand, the puppy turns around and sprints off.
逃げるか。いや、そうではなさそうじゃ。もしや。
Puppy had ignored Akagi in order to go after his previous target, jumps up and attempts to sink its fangs into the man's back, right where his heart should be, except... smacked him. Puppy is launched in the other direction by an invisible force. Passerby runs away as Akagi leisurely strolls up.
人間の心は脆いようで案外強いのじゃ。かけらを回収できるのは通常より大きくなりすぎた時、強引に削り取るには相当に弱っていなくては。そのような目に遭うのがオチなのじゃ。
As Akagi scolds the puppy, she realizes how she's praising the strength of humans.
バカな。あっちは何を考えておる。あっちは人間に同情などせん。出来損ないのアルプではないのじゃ。
Akagi takes her eyes off the dog in the midst of her internal conflict, and the puppy seizes the opportunity to flee again.
面倒なやつじゃな。どうせなら立ち向かってこんか。
After some time, Akagi finally manages to catch up to the puppy. There she finds a crying child. Perhaps he has gotten lost. The puppy is charging straight at him.
あいつ、もしや。
He targeted people with weak hearts. Puppy is as good as captured. Akagi simply has to wait for him to attack the child and stab him in the back then. But she has the child's safety to consider. If she goes with that plan, the child may still end up getting hurt. She wouldn't put it past the dog to prioritize getting a bite over its own safety. Having no time for this internal conflict, she makes her decision. Why should she care what happens to the child? Thought crosses her mind before she knows that she has grabbed a hold of the dog and is now grappling him on the ground. After some time trading blows, they both jump away and stare at each other from a distance.
逃げるか、小僧。さっさと親鳥のところへでも帰るのだな。
Mama bird. Shira's footsteps rapidly disappearing behind her as she confronts the puppy. You won't escape this time. For some reason, a sense of duty is welling up within her. Finds herself enraged at the way the dog treats the weak of a heart. Akagi was there when Shuji's dad was attacked, and she failed to consider the puppy dangerous. She's confident that she could have moved in to help should things have turned south. But the consequences of her naivety have made abundantly clear. She had no excuse for the way things turned out. This is the real reason for the tough facade she put on in front of Shuji.
これ以上お前の好き勝手にはさせん。星を聞かしてほしいなら望むだけくれてやろう。
Something was wrong though. The puppy seemed calm in its actions. Wasn't trying to run away this time.
ほう、まだ力の差がわからぬと見え。
Akagi's knees buckle, having been drained of their strength. She looks down at her arm in a daze. There's a small wound there. Puppy's fangs have come into contact with her in the scuffle. That alone shouldn't have hurt her so much. If Akagi was in her usual state, that is.
なんだ。もしや、あっちの心が。
Glistening feathers flutter to the ground. This is the cue that finally allows her to realize the warped, weakened state of her heart. That the shell has been cracked and a hole has been opened. And that it was caused by the promise she failed to keep 50 years prior. Akagi already knew the truth, that by now her friend had most likely passed away. The more her heart became human, the more that anxiety strengthened within her. That anxiety, more than anything, drove her desire to become human as soon as possible. She was frantic, but also petrified. Petrified of her weakness, how she'd have to resign herself to the truth. Puppy watches Akagi collapse to the ground before finally going after her fragments.
やめんか。
Reaches out a hand to stop him, but even a few feet feel like a mile to her right now. Her opponent pays her no mind as he leaps at her exposed fragments. He mercilessly gorges on his meal.
それはあっちの大切な約束なのじゃ。やめて。Akagi!
Just in the nick of time, a small-framed girl jumps in before her. Soba-san followed Akagi's scent all the way here. We arrived to see Akagi kneeling before the puppy. Fortunately, I'm in my human form for this, but someone else acted before me, and even Soba-san, Tsumugi. Or the puppy knocks Tsumugi back. You really can't judge a book by its cover. Tsumugi, are you okay? Hurry over to her side and hold her in my arms. Akagi, unable to keep up with the string of events, is frozen in place on her bottom.
やってくれたな。
こんな子犬が犯人だったとは。
Puppy judges the situation to have him at a disadvantage of bounds away.
私が追おう。後のことは任せる。
頼みます、ナナオ。つむぎ。
Akagi finally totters over to our side.
大丈夫。ちょっとびっくりしちゃっただけ。
Whew, I'm the shocked one. That was reckless.
ごめんね。でもほら、赤木。
Luki's clutching some small feathers.
それは。これは。半分くらいは向こうへ持っていかれちゃったみたいだけど、なんとかこれだけは守れたよ。
Luki places them in Akagi's palm.
あっちの。ねえ、赤木。自分の心を失うのはとても痛いことだったでしょ。とても。だから赤木には同じことをしてほしくないな。私がもっと頑張るから。それじゃあ。
Tears start streaming down Akagi's face.
おかしいのじゃ。あっちはおかしくなってしまったのじゃ。今まで平気でできたことが平気じゃなくなってしまったのじゃ。
Akagi?
一番大切な約束だったはずなのじゃ。なのに他のことも大切に思えてしまうことがある。時に一番大切なことまで霞んでしまうくらい。だから以前小僧にまだまだ人間に程遠いと言われた時、
Huh?
もう50年も経ってしまったのじゃ。もっと急がねば。もっと最短距離で約束を果たさねばならぬのに迷ってしまう。だから今まで通りのあっちに戻りたかった。 戻れないのは人間に程遠いせいなんじゃろう。一番大切なはずなのに、どうしてハチはハルプとしても人間としても出来損ないなのじゃ。
Sorry, Akagi, I was mistaken. Only realizing now how harsh that statement was. Words can even hurt an alp like Akagi. You know, when humans are worried, embarrassed, or nervous, or whenever things are going badly, we always try to go back to our usual selves as well. And oftentimes, that mindset only leads to further problems and misunderstandings. Why things were so rocky for me and Smoothie at the start. Humans are not perfect. We all make mistakes. So I was wrong about you. You're already plenty human.
シュージ、私もそう思うよ。つむぎ、ありがとう。ありがとう、二人とも。ハッチの約束を守ってくれて。
Akagi clutches her returned fragments as hard as she can. Grab against the form around us, but Aichi-san manages to drive them all away. Not long after, Soma-san comes back.
すまない。一部とはいえ赤城のかけらを吸収したせいだろう。私でも単純な追いかけっこでは勝てそうもない。
そうですか。厄介ですね。私たちが追っていることにも気づかれたはずですから。
おそらく赤城が掴んだねぐらも変えてくるだろう。
今後はますます探しづらくなりそうですね。
The two of them are acting perfectly calm, but I know they're in pain. Nobody likes seeing people suffer like this. There's a way.
シュウジ君、
You must have Ebola to know the way. Like how I'm letting him get away. Now, while he's got a hold of something so important to us, I have a feeling that this is something only I can do. We're gonna use our Shuuji powers.
サノバウィッチ。
The next day, we set up putting our plan into action once I turn human for the night.
今度はどうだ？
I can hear you loud and clear.
私の声はどうかな。ええ、聞こえていますよ。
I have a wireless headset in my ear transmitting everyone's voices to me, holding a group call by using a smartphone app.
私、こういうの初めてだからドキドキしちゃうな。人間というのはいろいろ便利なものを作り出すものじゃな。
Akagi has joined in too.
ともかく、これで何かあっても対応できるはずです。
Yeah, that's reassuring. It's a plan I suggested. I'll be the bait myself to lure out the culprit.
君もあの時姿を見られている。警戒して出てこない可能性。すぐに成果が出せるとは限らないことは。
I know that. But there aren't many people with hearts weak enough to have fragments forced from them, are there? Using my dad as bait worked well for Akagi, but there weren't many more people we could do the same with. I don't know if he realized there was a hole in my heart back then, but if he did, he should have marked me as the perfect target. If he sees me alone, I bet his instincts will take over and he'll attack me.
シュウジ君、私たちから離れすぎないようにしてね。
Yeah, I won't. Culprit has to think I'm alone. Everyone else will have to stay back, hidden from sight. Funnily enough, everyone on the street sees me as talking to myself. They all look at me like I'm crazy as they pass by.
星名君、油断しないでください。
I feel like Bluetooth had to have been a thing, like, for quite a while, you know? At least in Japan. I mean, they're pretty tech savvy. Don't worry, I won't be.
相手は人化の術を覚えている可能性もあるんですよ。人間に見えてもぼんやりしないでし。
Oh, yeah. This could happen. I never considered that. Damn.
だが、おとりは目立たなくては意味がない。一旦人の多い道へ出てから人気のない道へ入るのじゃ。そうすれば相手も襲いやすいはずじゃ。
Right, I've just got to keep walking the back alleys.
けど、危なくないかな。人の多いところで襲われる可能性もあるよね。
危険はあるが、効率的なのは確かだろう。星名くん次第だと思うが、どうする？
I'll do it. I'll make sure to be extra careful if anyone who gets near me.
でも、シュウジ君が。
Okay,
シュウジ。
hold on. Sorry, we're skipping a little bit. You're gonna do what? Oh, so you can make up for it? Okay, gotcha. I'm just like, okay, I know you guys are being lovebirds and all, but I want to see what ends up happening. I was planning to keep moving between wide and narrow streets, but things aren't going as well as I hoped.
やはりこの辺りではもう狩りをしないつもりなのかもしれないな。狩り場を変えたのだとしたら、
もっと捜索範囲を広げてみますか。いや、 あっちは反対だな。しょっちゅう場所を変えては相手もこちらを見つけづらくなる。一度場所を決めたらあとは待つしかないものじゃ。
赤城の言う通りだ。だからこそ厄介なんだよ。
なるほど。それが動物の習性というものかもしれませんね。
Us three humans have hardly a word to say about this part of the plan. We had to leave this to the Alps.
ところで一つわからんことがある。
なんだ？言ってみてくれ。
Getting a weird feeling about this conversation.
脳はやけに凶暴化しておったが、小僧の父親を襲う前までは特に不審な様子は見られなかったのじゃ。
He has a hole in his heart too.
そういえば私たちが最初に見つけた時も。
He was more attached to me than Samugi. That is pretty strange now that I think about it. Perhaps he'd already worked out I was a target back then. When I handed Atsuma-san, he decided she was an even better target. No, can't be thinking about that right now.
アルプになりかけているとき、不安定になるものは多い。
だがあそこまで暴走するものか。お前の時はどうだったのだ？
私はすぐあるがままの自分を受け入れられたが。
優等生ぶりおって。
Regardless, nothing's gonna happen until we find and catch him. Let's have to keep walking around. No one's approaching me yet.
修二君、そろそろ疲れてきたんじゃない？少し休憩する？
Fine, I'm not human for long anyways. Plan on staying out here until I reach my time limit.
いえ、申し訳ないのですが、私たちの方が少し疲れてきました。10分ほど通話を切らせていただきたいのですが。ね、七尾。
そうだな。赤城も通話を切れ。
何？もちろんシーバさんたちは会話を続けても結構。ひょっとしてこれが空気を読むということか。よかろうなのじゃ。分かっていただけて何よりです。
Just having their
ちょっとみん
conversation.
な。では、ごゆっくり。周囲の警戒は私たちでしておきますので。
Is this really happening? Oh, they hung up.
なんだか気を使われちゃった。
I'd like to get this done quickly, but there's no use in being impatient. Lean against the nearby wall and take a break. What am I meant to talk about now? This is hardly the time to be flirting.
明日からまた学院だね。
Yeah, but tonight's far from over. Come to think of it, do you have any plans for Christmas?
うちは家族みんなで集まるしきたりだけど、今年はどうしようかな。
We end up doing something close to flirting anyways. However, I suddenly remember there's something I've been meaning to ask Samugi. It's a good opportunity to segue into the topic. Speaking of tradition, do you remember what you said before? About how you wore boys' clothing as a kid?
ああ、それしきたりっていうかおまじないっていうか、そんなに古いものじゃないんだよ。昔ね、うちのおばあちゃん体が弱かったんだって。
Alright. For some reason, I find myself fascinated by this conversation. Your grandma was a girl, right?
何言ってるの、当たり前だよ。ああ、けどその頃ね、おばあちゃんのお母さんが占い師の人か何かに相談したらしくて、男の子の格好をさせれば元気に育つって言われたそうなの。
A different time back then.
だよね。でもそのおかげで無事大きくなれたって思ったらしくて、以来私のうちでは女の子は男の子の格好をさせられちゃうみたいなの。
Custom doesn't sound very enjoyable for the girls. Anyways, you hear a lot of stories about childhood frailty, it seems. Reminds me of Akagi's promise, actually. Say your grandma didn't happen to be hospitalized for a while for an operation, did she? Haha, surely not.
どうして知ってるの？でももちろん今は全然平気なんだよ。手術したの
Oh my
も
gosh.
確かもう50年くらい前の話だから。
They've really added a lot of plot points and they're tying them all together. You just say 50 years.
多分逆算しても合ってると思うけどな。
How does Samugi not, like, know about their whole connection? Holy shit, no, it can't be. That's too insane. Maybe, just maybe, Akagi was drawn to Samugi because she felt something familiar in her.
それがどうかしたの？
Crap. Talk about bad timing. We're out of time. I'm about to turn into a teddy.
そうなんだ。じゃあすぐ迎えに行くね。
Well, it's possible or even likely this is all a coincidence. Need to get back to the bottom of that when I have the time. Everyone's waving at me. Everyone's waving at me? Oh, I guess because he transformed. They probably just see a teddy bear, and Japanese people are nice like that. They'll just wave to inanimate objects. Guess this is it for today. Let's continue tomorrow. Crowd comes to a nearby bush. You gotta be kidding me. Could he have picked a worse time? Of course not. He's been targeting me this whole time. Everything has worked out so perfectly in his favor, I can't imagine any other way. Charges me the moment I turn into a teddy bear. Whoa! Slightly propelled at tremendous speed, I struggled to comprehend what's happening to me for a moment. See everyone growing distant in my wobbling vision. Puppy has grabbed a hold of my foot and is sprinting away as fast as his forelegs can carry him. This is way too fast, too shaky. I'm losing consciousness. I'm sorry, everyone.
どうしてハッチは毎日窓をつついているというのに。
Huh? Akagi?
どうして頑張れたんだ。大切な人を失った後。
一番の友達なのに。どうして何もしてあげられないの？
What is this? This feels similar to the dreams I usually see after absorbing fragments, but this time my point of view is much lower.
あの犬どうするのかしら。保健所から引き取ってきてからもう10年以上も生きてるんだって。
でも雑種でしょ。お父さんみたいな物好きじゃあるまいし、欲しがる人なんて。
Who are they? A strange smell permeates the room they occupy. The smell of death. Next to them is a coffin holding my now silent master. He was so loved, and now he's been reduced to a black and white photo. I wish I had the same smile forevermore. I know that he'll never pat me on the head with that wrinkled hand again. Dog decides to set off on a journey, dragging its aging body down the street. Could this dream be? Time whizzes by. Now I'm suddenly looking at Atsuma's-san's face.
こらやめなさい。そんなに懐いたって私は飼ってあげられないわ。もう友達を失うのは嫌なのよ。やっぱりこの人も大切な人を失ったんだ。
I hear a voice.
あなたが人間と同じくらい長生きだったなんて。ダメ都合よく考えたって仕方がないわ。もし僕が人間だったら君は多分僕と同じだから。おやなんだろうあれは。
Puppy realizes a condition of Atsuma-san's heart. His budding output allows him to detect her fragments by instinct.
君の一部なのかな。あれを手に入れれば君と同じになれる気がする。
No way.
そうだ僕ならずっと君のそばにいてあげられるんだ。
No, stop. This won't turn out the way you think it will. The puppy jumps playfully towards Atsuma-san, and then he sinks a small fang into her heart. Stop! I open my eyes of a start. I'm in the school courtyard. Puppy's howling up at the moon. Dream it has had. I was looking into his heart, wasn't I? I was able to hear the voices of fragments I haven't absorbed. Puppy keeps on howling. Then accompanied by his howls comes a flood of emotions. Every taste, color, and temperature you can imagine assailed me at once like I'm surrounded by a crowd of people. What is this? I'm utterly confused if I haven't seen that dream just now. But I think I can see what's going on here. Akagi did say it was strange how violent the dog was being. Have you not been able to absorb the fragments? He never meant to hurt Atsuma-san. That's probably why he was so surprised. He was so startled by how he accidentally hurt his new master that he's unable to absorb the fragments, which in turn only served to confuse him further. Like other people's emotions have infiltrated his heart. They shouldn't be there. So if his reasoning left a mess, he's been unable to go against his instincts. His instincts tell him to seek out fragments, so the more he collects, the more jumbled his heart becomes. The further from his initial goal he strays. This is not a good state for him to be in. But this alone doesn't explain why I saw that dream. There has to be another, simpler explanation. These howls pleas for help. Yeah, it sounds kind of similar to like when dogs are like trying to call for their mom. Sounds like. His dream was a response to his desperate pleas for help, and at times like this I'm glad I have my power. If I didn't have it, I would have deemed this guy a villain, and handed down my sentence accordingly. That's not how things are. You know, you've been going at this all wrong. You need to learn the proper way to do things. Puppy looks at me. Not too different from you. I've been making one mistake after another lately. Puppy circles around me and cautiously sizes me up. I became up like this in order to help the woman I love. But I failed to realize that there are other people who cared about me too. I've been paying the price for my screw-ups ever since. Are you listening to me? No, he can't hear me, can he? Damn it. I understand how he feels, but I have no way of communicating with him. At least he doesn't look like he's about to attack me. He just keeps his distance encircling me. He's probably confused as to whether I'm human or a teddy bear. I don't know if I should be happy or sad about that. Gotta come up with a plan. What can I do? Ah! Tatsugi and Akagi caught a glimpse of them in the shadow of the school. Aichi-san or Somo-san weren't by their side, but I'm sure they're not far behind. All the fragments will return to their proper owners with a single whack of Tsumugi's hammer. What we have to do hasn't really changed. But Akagi is exhausted from her defeat yesterday, and Tsumugi may have transformed, but that doesn't give her superhuman powers. I'll have to create a chance for them to use. I can do this. Well, there's no need to be so cautious. I may look like a teddy bear, but I'm a genuine human. You have to get all the fragments if you want to attack me. You'll never have an easier target. Not working, huh? I'm sure Tsumugi can hear me. That doesn't mean much for if the dog doesn't take the bait. Damn it, so I'm useless. At the sound of a twig breaking or something, it came from over where I saw Tsumugi earlier. Dog reacts to it by instantly sprinting in that direction. Hey, wait. Crap, he managed to knock Tsumugi over yesterday like it was nothing. Akagi's heart is weak. She won't be able to put much of a fight up either. Tsumugi comes running out of the shadows, and the puppy chases after her on instinct. Stop it! Akagi steps out from behind me. When did you? He's Tsumugi's the bait right now. Huh? Hey! Akagi picks me up and branches to me as a makeshift shield. Puppy stops chasing Tsumugi and charges at us instead. Oh, finally, what should we do? Wait, you're actually using it as a shield? Corners of Akagi's mouth curl up into a grin. Puppy is closed into pouncing distance. Tsumugi shoots for the night like the wind. With astonishing swiftness, she catches up to the dog. Tsumugi brings her hammer down in a flurry of swings, but the puppy nimbly evades each one with each dodging, moving the two further away from us. Oh, I thought being a witch didn't give you any special powers. Now think about it, Tsumugi's rather quick-footed for a girl. Maybe she's just naturally athletic. I can picture that. But her opponent is strong enough to send mere humans flying. The puppy corrects its posture, shifting to defensive stance. Tsumugi, be careful! Tsumugi and the puppy begin circling each other. The puppy doesn't seem likely to give us another window to escape. But the biggest problem is that Tsumugi is a complete amateur when it comes to fighting. No, wait! Don't attack while your opponent is on the defensive. Dog leaps at Tsumugi mid-charge. She manages to deflect his attack with the handle of her hammer, but just barely. This dog's might is too overpowering for her. Tsumugi topples over onto her back. Tsumugi! Instead of pouncing her, the puppy turns to us. Tsumugi was just a distraction while Akagi and I are his dinner. We have to run, Akagi. You just said you were in no state to fight? My speech falters at the sight of Akagi. Crystal clear eyes, she stares down at the puppy. Puppy leaps at us. Akagi barely manages to dodge it. So, what's the plan? Puppy continues its assault while we have our conversation. Akagi dodges each pounce the critter makes. Does that have to be right now? Well, that's something you should tell her, not me. Akagi?
今いる友達のことも大切に思っているぞ。
I think this is really funny because they're talking to each other, right? She can understand him, he can understand her, but like the dog doesn't understand, so it's just probably listening to her talking. Wait, I don't know what she's up to, but it can't be anything good.
お前との取引は破棄させてもらう。そうすればお前は今すぐ人間に戻れるじゃろう。
What?
でも一方的に破棄などすれば今度はあっちの方が代償を払う羽目になるじゃろうかな。
You have to pay with all of her heart power she's been saving up. She'd lose it all in an instant. You idiot, aren't you trying to become human? I'm not sure, but I think the person you've been looking for is really close by.
スージ、お前こそ父親を救うのではないのか。
Hey,
すまなかったな。あれはあっちのミスじゃ。
this isn't fair. Why are you taking this now? Puppy comes flying at us again. Akagi dodges it by taking a huge leap back.
さあ、シュージ、覚悟を決めろ。あっちにはあれを止められん。だが、オスのお前なら一瞬くらいは何とかできるじゃろう。そうすれば、あとは紬が何とかしてくれるはずじゃ。
Akagi, you...
泣き言は許さん。できるのか、できないのかどっちじゃ。
Our opponent is no ordinary puppy, but I honestly don't know if I can do this. What else am I supposed to say? The burden is too great with too many people counting on me for me to pick any other response. I can do it.
いい返事だ。任せるぞ、シュージ。紬！
Puppy comes flying at us like a bullet. Akagi puts me on the ground and then places her hand against my mouth. Whoa! And I'm back in my human form before I know it. Puppy leaps at me. I grab it out of the air and grapple it to the ground in an effort to stop it. But obviously I'm no match for him when it comes to strength. The puppy launches me backwards, knocking me on my ass. I have a vague realization that someone who's meant to be behind me isn't, but I'm too busy focusing on the puppy to worry about that. Stop struggling, listen up. I'm going to tell you about us humans, the thing you're trying to become. We're all a bunch of idiots who can't learn without screwing up. You and I have both made our fair share of mistakes, but we have to take responsibility for them. I owe it to my dad to take responsibility for mine, but I'm going to become someone who cares for others as much as he's cared for me. I plan on spending my entire life repaying the support Smoogey has given me. After all the help everyone has given me and all the trouble I put them through, I've finally grown up, even if only a little. I have to accept that's who I am. I'm weak, an absolute mess of a person, and that's okay. You need to open your eyes and find a way to repay your new master. Repay everyone else while you're at it. You got that? Promise me that you'll own up to your mistakes and make it up to everyone. Smoogey!
シュージ君！
Smoogey brings the hammer down on the puppy's noggin, emanating a dazzling light on impact. Just straight up euthanized him. Particles of light spread all around us as if we're being surrounded by 1,000 fireflies. You wouldn't believe your eyes. 1,000 fireflies? As if each one is thanking us for the release. The lights then identify their owners and shoot off from the sky, creating a spectacular light show. Suki stares up with spectacles, spellbound. Not long after, the puppy stands as if nothing had ever happened despite the huge bump on his head. Despite he looks around before running off somewhere. Perhaps he's going back to Atsuma-san. Due to the large amount of heart power he just lost, I doubt he'll be coming out anytime soon. It all depends on how he acts in the coming years.
なんとかなったみたいだね。
Yeah.
でも、あれ？赤城は？打ち合わせではね、修二君のこと少しだけ人の姿に戻す方法があるみたいに言ってたけど、ねえ修二君、それって。
Looks like Smoogey's figured it out. Yeah, Akagi used up her own heart power to turn me back into a human, so... The shrill caw of large black bird interrupts our conversation.
赤城。
Do you not speak Japanese anymore? After everything she's done to find a witch, after 50 years of trying to keep her promise, and for so many decades you were so close to becoming human, and yet, did you know this would happen?
修二君、大丈夫みたい。
That your fragment bottle. She had previously spent all of her fragments filling mine and my dad's hearts. Now it's filling up back before our eyes, almost to the point of bursting.
きっと修二君の心の穴が埋まったんだよ。むしろ利子をつけてもらったくらい、こんなにすごい反応は初めてだよ。
Wait, my heart has been healed. Honestly, it doesn't feel like anything's different. Maybe it's true, perhaps I'm ready to become a normal person just like everyone else. Our achievement today has been monumental.
さあ、修二君も持って。
Oh, this is cute. Your boss completely full now.
私が赤城に前借りした魔力を返せるんだよ。
With that, Smoogie will be released from her contract.
こんなものじゃ足りないかもしれないけど、受け取って。私たちが集めた心のかけら。
You could be annoying as hell, but I guess it'll be cool if you come back to normal.
私が魔女として果たす最後の役目だよ。いつか赤城が人間になって当たり前の友達になれるように、ようやく叶えられるね。
Light pours out of the bottle. Several glistening rainbows wrap around our friend. This may not be as much as what she had lost, but please, let this at least help her dream come true. Light around us slowly dissipates, revealing our surroundings. With my heart aflutter in anxiety and anticipation, I watch as Akagi comes into view. That could be the end? Oh, that's cute. Alright, we're gonna skip this before it shows something I don't want to see. It was already starting to do that. Okay, I was like, there needs to be an after story. That was very brief, very abrupt. The winter winds have been growing colder by the day, and now tonight it's cold enough to snow. But despite the shiver-inducing temperatures, everyone has a spring in their step. Festive atmosphere hangs over nooks and crannies of the town, as well as it should. For today is the 24th of December, Christmas Eve.
困ったわね。来るのが早すぎたかしら。
Oh, we get to see them meeting. Rubbing our cold hands together, a lone elderly woman sits down on a bench. Seems she's planning to meet someone. A single raven flies down to join her and perches itself on top of her backrest.
あら、ごきげんよう。あなたも誰かと待ち合わせ？ひょっとして私が驚かないのが不思議。でもね、私には昔少し変わった友達がいたのよ。あなたによく似て、喉のところの羽毛がふさふさしてた。普通のカラスと違って大ガラスっていうそうだけど、こんなところにも飛んでくるのね。
While gazing at the raven, the old lady reminisces.
ごめんなさい、じろじろ見ちゃって。なんだか思い出しちゃって。私ね、小さい頃男の子の格好をさせられてたことがあるの。私は体が弱かったから、強い子に育つためのおまじないなんだって言われたわ。けど当時はそれが嫌でね。病気が治ったら他の子みたいに白いワンピースが着てみたいってだだこねたこともあったわ。今じゃそんなの似合わないだろうけど。
The old woman looks down at the ground before continuing on.
友達とね、約束をしたの。また来年ここで会いましょうって。変でしょ。でもそのことはちゃんと言葉が通じる気がしてたのよ。けどこうか不幸か、私はもうその病院へ戻ることは引っ越しなんかもあったから、子供が一人で行けるような距離ではなかったし。でもずっと約束を守れなかったことが気にかかっていたの。私が元気になれたことちゃんと報告できなかったから心配させている気がしてね。娘や孫にまでおまじないを続けさせちゃったのも迷惑なおばあちゃんね。
By this point, the raven has hopped down to the bench seat right next to the old
もし
lady.
あなたが私の友達と会うこと、約束を守れなくてごめんなさいって伝えてもらえるかしら。そう、ありがとう。
おばあちゃん、ごめん、また。
あら、孫が迎えに来てくれたみたい。実はね、今日は孫が彼氏を紹介してくれるんですって。隣にいる先 背の高い子がそうかしら。
もうおばあちゃん、誰と話してたの？
まあ、いなくなっちゃってるわね。
You're Smugi-san's grandmother, right? I'm Hoshino Shuuji.
まあまあ孫がいつもお世話になってます。
Raven perches atop a nearby lamppost, looking down at the boy as he bows. He's shivering from not the cold, but his nerves.
もうおばあちゃんたらそういうのは後々。今日は修二君のお父さんも来てくれてね。二人の家族みんなでファミリーパーティーなんだから。
Smugi takes the old lady's hand and starts to walk.
楽しみね、とても。
Raven is unable to hold back that shrill caw, noticing it the man turns his head in surprise. Hey, quit acting like you're not involved. You're an important guest, so you better not go home on your own, Akagi.
分かっておるの？
普段ワインはたしなみませんが、うまいもんですな。あ？ただのチリワイン？ああ、いやいや、安くてうまいなら名産に違いありません。
Dad, don't drink too much.
今日くらいいいだろう。めでたい上に酒がうまいのがいかんのだ。
Shuji's dad acts as the mood setter for the party, immediately hitting off with Smugi's parents. Meanwhile, Shuji's talent for cooking gains in popularity among the women. They ooh and ah over the way he nimbly maneuvers himself around the kitchen.
安心したわ。いいお婿さんが来てくれそうで。
もうおばあちゃんもお母さんもあんまりからかわないで。けどそうなってくれたらいいな。
Koki stands alone on the veranda, peering inside.
やれやれ、見せつけてくれるな。中で混じることもできんのに料理だけ出されてもな。
Despite her complaints, she still pecks away at the roast chicken left out for her. Akagi has recovered her ability to speak, but she cannot yet transform into a human. It'll likely take many months, if not years, for her to regain all of her powers.
おかげで古い友達とも再会を果たせた。これで思い残すこともない。あの二人ならきっと幸せになってくれるだろうからな。行こうか。期待。
Should be where her old flock is now.
ちょっと赤木、どこ行くつもり？つもりか。
Right as Akagi is about to take flight, the one person she didn't want to be spotted by climbs onto the roof with
この
her.
町にいるのもいい加減起きてきての。しばし旅へ出ることにしたのじゃ。赤木は渡り鳥だもんね。旅をするのが自然なことなのかもね。そういうことじゃ。世話になったな。まさかお前の祖母があっちの友人だったとは思わんかったぞ。私もびっくりしちゃった。でもおばあちゃんが私と赤木を結びつけてくれたようにも思うんだ。かもしれん。
The two of them look at the dark clouds in the sky that are ready to burst. Akagi won't get far if she doesn't take flight soon, but she can't bring herself to spread her wings just
ねえ
yet.
赤木、なんじゃ。ひょっとして人間になるのはもうやめちゃうつもり？だっておばあちゃんに会えたことである意味目的は果たしちゃったわけでしょ。バカ者。
What slipped from her beak were words you would not have expected from her.
目的など大して重要ではなかったのじゃ。今度は友人としていつかあの輪の中へ入っていきたい。
Laughter and chatter burst out of the room beneath them. Akagi watches as Shuji strolls out into the veranda below and listens down their
今は
conversation.
また別の気持ちで人間になりたいと思っておる。あっちにとっての自由とは自分のいたい場所にいつまでもいられることなのじゃから。よかった。クリスマスプレゼントが無駄にならなくて済みそうで。何？あっちに何かくれるつもりなのか？気になる？あっちはもらえるものなら何でももらう主義じゃ。で、どんなプレゼントなのじゃ？今、赤木が一番必要としてるものです。何？なんであろうな。餌ならもうたらふく食ったが。違う。人間になるんだったら心のかけらを集める魔女が紬。そしてその魔女の願いはね、友達が人間になれることなんだよ。いつかその子とも一緒にパーティーができるように。
Huggie's vision blurs. She looks up at the sky in an attempt to deceive Tsumugi.
お、雪。そうだな。修二くん、やったね。ホワイトクリスマスだよ。
Yeah. A reply comes from the veranda. Two of them likely planned this from the start.
雪など嬉しいものか。これではとても遠くまで飛んでいくこと。もう少しこの場にとどまらねばならんようだ。そうしよう、赤木。これからもよろしくね。
Alright.
サノバウィッチ。
Very interesting route. It seemed like, I'm just trying to understand why some people wouldn't like this route. I could see why. I definitely feel like it almost focused so much on telling a story that it didn't really tell their story all too much. I mean, they kind of touched on it a little bit there at the end, right? Like, I think it was satisfying enough, but they could have gone much further with Shuuji and Tsumugi, right? Obviously, she's not the final route, so it's not really like her route's meant to be like this incredible thing. But I really like the storytelling, just because it did seem like they focused on that a lot. I thought that part was really good. Like, I could maybe see it being a little bit too long, but overall, I mean, not the bad route that I was expecting it to be. I really didn't have too many problems with it, and the ones I did, you guys heard me address. Overall, though, not too bad. We've gone through 4 girls now, okay? We got Tsumugi, Meguru, Wakana, and Toko. We're on to the last girl, Nene Aichi, which you guys said is one of your favorite routes. Not just in the game, but I think some people were saying it might have been their favorite route, period. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that develops. I'm sure it'll be the longest one, so I should get ready and strap in for that. Anyways, though, got through Tsumugi's route. I'm happy about that. Made some good progress, just because I haven't made really that much progress in a few months. But we'll be starting Nene's in the next episode. So, hope you guys are looking forward to that, and I'll see you then.